So it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. You're just afraid they'd abandon you. So you abandon them. You distance yourself from the whole thing.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. We're in the middle of the week. It's hump day. We're getting closer and closer towards the weekend. So I hope, despite the rough week that may have started out for you, things will continue to go smooth selling for you as the week progresses. I want to give a big ups to all of my subscribers. Those of you who have been rocking with me from day one. I appreciate your loyalty and your dedication. Secondly, I want to thank all of my subscribers who have just subscribed. I welcome you to the family. I appreciate you for becoming a member of Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Again, you are greatly appreciated, and I welcome you. If this is your first time here and you're just viewing my content for the first time, I thank you, and I welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris, the only channel in the YouTube streets that is non-biased, kicking knowledge for Black men and Black women, which is very rarely when it comes to these YouTube streets. So with that being said, I thought it was very imperative that I did a particular content today. What's up, Billy Harris and everybody else who's slowly but surely coming in into the chat room? I have, of course, one of my non-ratchet movement ladies with me. I started my own little group. For those of you who are not too aware, I started a non-ratchet movement, which is basically a group of Black women that are intelligent, that can really give good sound advice from an intelligent and intellectual standpoint. Also, these are Black women that do believe in other Black women taking accountability for their actions. We're not the bakery, we're not Krispy Kreme, we don't sugarcoat the truth here, we tell it like it is, even if it may rub some people some type of way, but we do it out of compassion and we do it out of love. So with no further ado, I'm going to let Miss Poetic Kales. I know Classic Ruby, she's supposed to be joining us this evening. She probably got tied up or she had something she had to do. But with no further ado, Poetic Kales is here. So Poetic, please step to the mic.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Today is very hot. It's about 80 degrees. I'm trying to get to the I'm trying to get to my spot. I'm in the building now. But I hope everybody's having a blessed day. We're going to have like a very, very good conversation. And I am so glad to be here. And I got my food.
Absolutely. I done already had my fried chicken wings with my Texas Pete hot sauce and my yellow cheese rice. So I am good to go
Ooh,
because a
sounds
sister can't
good.
do no good content on an empty stomach. I'm sorry.
You can't.
I got to have my food.
You make me want to throw my food away and come over there and eat with you.
Girl, I had to get my grub on, honey. I'm a very difficult woman to be around when I'm hungry. What's up,
I'm the
Abina, and
same.
everybody else who's chiming in?
I'm the same way. I am not friendly when I'm hungry.
Yes, I'm a beast, absolutely. And I'm sure it's hot a little bit everywhere. This is one of those lace wig slap back weather. You can't wear a lace
Okay.
frontal because it's so goddamn hot. It's gonna slide back from your forehead. So I
Listen, I tell
suggest you
you,
get a sew in or something.
listen, I'm just going to have to comb my hair. I took my wig and threw it on the floor.
It's too goddamn hot. It's too hot to
It's
wear
sweaty.
any hair.
It's too sweaty. Too sweaty to wear.
Absolutely. But yes, with no further ado, y'all, tonight's topic is Black Wives Matter. I thought it was very imperative that we did this content. It's not too many sisters out here that are speaking on marriage, that are speaking on relationships. We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough of sisters speaking on issues like this that are very important because unlike many people, unlike other people, I do support Black love. I believe in Black love. It's all about just meeting the right person that you can vibe with spiritually and
Mhm.
intellectually. I definitely believe in Black love. I don't think the YouTube streets promote Black love enough. We're always, if anything, we promote drama more than anything. You have Black men panels who are bashing Black women and Black women who are bashing Black men. So it's really no love for Black men and Black women. We don't have love for one another in these YouTube streets. We don't have love for each other in general. Okay, and I think it's very important that we still value marriage. We still value relationships. Just because all you see is a lot of negative um things going on about Black marriages around you, that should not discourage you from wanting a potential soulmate and somebody who you can build a future with and build a legacy with, because their Black love does exist despite what you see, despite the negativity. There are some Black men and Black women out there who genuinely want to be loved and are looking for love. So again, don't fall up behind the negativity you hear in these YouTube streets. Use your own mind, use your own judgment. Don't let other people's negative experiences influence you to feel a certain type of way about a
Right.
Black man or to feel a certain type of way about a Black woman. Whatever they went through, that is what they have gone through. So, don't let what other people have gone through influence you to give up on Black love, because it does exist. Okay. So, with no further ado, this is the topic that I thought it was imperative. If y'all have not heard by now, it's going viral. It's everybody's making a big issue out of it. Basically, if y'all haven't heard, Ayesha Curry, the
Mhm.
wife of NBA Golden State Warriors athlete Steph Curry. The heat is pretty turned up on Ayesha Curry right now. If y'all have not heard already, Ayesha Curry is not only just the wife of NBA star Steph Curry, she has a lot of receipts. She's a cookbook author, she's a
Mhm.
Food Network personality, and she's a mom. So I give her props for not wanting to be the typical Atlanta housewife. She's trying to make boss moves. She's not trying to be just a housewife, stay home and collect checks and go shopping and get pedicures and manicures all day. She's actually, she's invested, and I think that's very wise for
Mhm.
a Black woman to do. If you have a husband that is very successful, enjoy the fruits of it. I've seen women not only like Ayesha Curry, but like what's her name? She was married to Russell Simmons, Kamora Simmons.
Oh,
You
Kimora,
remember her, right?
Kimora. Yeah, she did she started the baby fat.
Baby
Uh,
fat. Yes, and she
yeah.
did um, the shoe line online called Just Fab. She made a lot of boss moves, knowing that her husband, ex-husband now, Russell Simmons, had been this big
Mhm.
time entrepreneur, and she didn't just sit back on her ass. You know what I mean? She made some boss moves. She know my husband is big. Let me use his connections to build my
Absolutely.
brand. That's what you're supposed to do as a
Supposed to
woman.
be-
Don't just sit
You're
back
not
and
supposed
swipe.
to sit. You're not supposed to just
Right.
sit back and be comfortable and think that this is gonna last forever.
Exactly, exactly. If you got them kind of connections, make it happen. So Ayesha Curry is definitely a young woman. I've been in the mall a couple of times. I've seen some of her cookware, and I'm like, oh snap! This heifer got pots and pans and frying pans and all kind of stuff. I'm like, you go, girl. You got a cooking set. I'm like, damn, and because looking at her, you would think she's just a typical, want to be cute type and just breed babies type, but she's far from that. She's pretty wise, and I love to see black women make boss moves because there's too many of us making ratchet ass moves. So when I see a sister that does something different from above the rest, I got my pom poms and I'm cheering her on. I'm like, yes, yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes. Finally, a black woman that's standing outside of the stereotype. She is making boss ass moves. So I would give Ayesha Curry that. Now, what is going on for all of y'all who are kind of not, y'all don't keep up with the media and little things like that? I get it. Basically, what's going on with Ayesha Curry? She was on the show Red Table Talk. For those of y'all who don't know what Red Table Talk is, it's a little show that Jada Pickett, she's pretty much, it's her own personal show that she does on YouTube. I don't know if it's on regular TV, but I catch it most of the time on YouTube. And what I like about the show with Jada Pickett, she's very transparent. She will ask questions that you can't beat around the bush. You got to answer honestly and earnestly. And I like that real raw talk. I can respect women who like to have real conversation and don't always try to act like they doo-doo don't stink and their marriage is perfect. And you know, Jada Pickett has been very transparent. And most of her guests that she brought on her show has been very transparent as well. She's had Gabrielle Union, who came on the show, sharing her issues with being able to conceive children. I mean, talk about real issues that a lot of women are not, black women are not brave enough to talk about, because we want to make it look like we got it together all the time. And the truth of the matter is, we all don't have it together. We all got personal things we're going through and personal struggles. Now, Ayesha Taylor, I'm sorry, Curry. Ayesha Curry was on the show, and basically the question that Jada Pickett asked her was, how do you deal with groupies? What's up, Art? Good to see you. That was the question she asked her. So this was Ayesha's reply. She says, Stephen is a very nice by nature and he's very talkative. Everything is always very friendly. And sometimes to the point where I'm like, I'm a grown woman. So I'll just insert myself. I'll be like, hello, how are you doing? So that lets me know with just that one little statement there that Steph has the tendency to forget that she's there when these women are approaching them. So she has to say, hello, I'm here, but I'm gonna put that on pause. What's up, Classic Ruby? I see you made it in the building.
I was waiting for her to finish
Yes,
talking before I
y'all.
said, Ruby!
I slid in. I slid in.
Hey!
I'm gonna do my best to try to stay awake. I was sleeping, and if it wasn't for
Oh,
this company that calls and harasses me trying to get my ducks clean every week, and no matter
oh.
what you say to them, they just hang up on you and then call you from a new number next week. I would still be sleeping now. So I guess I gotta for once be thankful for them. But I made it, y'all. I made it, so I'm ready to go.
Well, yes, honey.
Yeah,
You
good,
you
good
you
to hear, good to hear.
you are late, but you are on time.
That's what
Okay.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, right? According to
Yeah.
You
colored
are,
people time, like I'm still like 15 minutes early. That's all I'm trying to say. So,
let me tell you something.
Okay.
I'll be late to every damn thing. I'll be late for my own damn funeral. The only way I won't be late because somebody else will be planning it. I'm late
see,
for
that's what I was
everything.
saying. Hmm. The only way
I'm
I'm not late is if someone
right.
plans it and then lies to me and tells me that it starts about 3 hours, 2, 3 hours earlier than it really starts. That's when I'm on time for things. So I'm just saying.
Right.
Right. I totally agree. And for the most part, you know, both of y'all always come on time. I never have any issue. I know if y'all don't show up, something really happened or whatever, but I get it. I really don't have it like that to dog anybody with their lateness, because I'm late for every goddamn thing. I've been almost like 30 minutes late to other people's shows. It just seems like things go wrong when people ask me ahead of time. But when some people ask me impulsively, I'm on time. But when they ask
Mhm.
me like last week, I'm late. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It just happens.
Right,
Mhm.
right. And sometimes it slips your mind, and when they ask, too far in advance, it's like, oh snaps! I forgot that you wanted me to do something this week.
Mhm.
Girl, yes. I
Sometimes I might
promise
need.
you. Yeah, it be like that. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. Now, I know you just kind of the good thing is you didn't miss much. I was just kind of going in. These pop-ups is driving me insane. I hate it. I didn't know if you heard the latest Ruby about Ayesha Curry, the wife of basketball player Steph Curry. Have you heard anything about what's going on Twitter with her?
Well, in all fairness, I have no idea what's going on Twitter. I wouldn't even have known anything was said until you told me that something was said. So I went and looked for it, and then a whole bunch of people inundated my I got like seriously like 10 messages in total today saying, "Oh, check out this panel or check out this article or whatever." And I'm like, "What did this girl say?" So
Girl, well, I'm gonna give you the highlights. So we don't have to go and dig and hunt through every blogger. So I'm gonna just give you the main points.
yeah, let's
So
hear
I
what
was
Black Twitter did to this poor woman. Okay.
yeah, girl. I'm telling you, that's the thing about being a celebrity, honey. You say one thing out of pocket, these bloggers get on YouTube, everybody just goes running with it. I mean, it's a never ending story. People are
Mhm.
relentless. Okay, so
Mhm.
this is what's
Mhm.
going on with Miss Curry. Now she had an interview with Table Talk, which is a show that just owned by that Jada Pickett hosts. And she brings a lot of black women on there and she asks them very personal questions that most black women would not be brave enough to answer. She asks a lot of personal type of questions, which I admire that about her show. So she had Gabrielle Union on there talking about her issues with miscarrying a child and having to get a surrogate, with her husband Dwayne Wade. So she gives a lot of interesting topics. I actually enjoyed the show. Well, what happened recently was Jada Pickett brought Steph Curry's wife, Ayesha Curry, Ayesha Curry, on the show and asked her how does she deal with groupies. Steph Curry is an NBA player for Golden State Warriors. My husband is obsessed with that freaking basketball team, but whatever the case is, she came on there and basically this was her response when she was asked, how do you deal with groupies? This was Miss Curry's exact response. Stephen is a very nice by nature and he's very talkative. Everything is always very friendly and sometimes to the point where I'm like, I'm a grown woman. So I'll just insert myself. I'll be like, hello, how are you doing? She also acknowledged that as a mom of three little ones, and they just had their third child in July, she sometimes wishes she got the kind of attention from the opposite sex that her husband currently receives.
What? I didn't hear that part. She
Yeah,
said
we're gonna get into the elements of this in a few minutes. Okay, we're gonna do some surgery because it's a lot to this that I'm perceiving, and I'm sure y'all are perceiving the same thing. Now, she
I'm ready.
goes on to say something that really bothers me, and honestly has given me a little bit of a sense of insecurity, is the fact that yay, there are like all these women throwing themselves at him, but me, the past 10 years, I don't have any of that. I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. So then I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me? She continued, I don't want it, but it would be nice to know that someone's looking. Okay, so just with the information I have given y'all, what's up to Keenan? Good to see you. Drama Club, good to see you, hon. So based on that information alone that I gave y'all, starting with poetic, what did you just give me a few highlights on what did you gather from that?
what I gathered from that. She, number one, of course, her husband's gonna get a lot of attention. You know what I'm saying? He's an NBA star. So that comes along with the territory. But what threw me off is when she said she wished she and was getting the same
Mhm.
attention from the opposite sex that he's getting. Okay, so now you put it out there that, you know what I'm saying, that you want the same attention that he's getting. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So now, no telling, your DMs might get lit.
I think, and you know what?
That's a
That's already
that's a
kind of
beautiful
happening.
woman right there. That's a beautiful woman.
I don't think she realized she put it out there that she's not getting enough attention. And that's not good because it's looking like your husband is not handling his business. Because the
That's
last
how
thing,
she's making it seem. That's exactly how she's making it seem, and that she's looking
yep,
for. And since she's not getting the attention that he's getting, and he forgetting that she's around when he gets in front of his little groupies, she's
mm,
making it seem like she's crying out for somebody to give her some attention,
mm,
or else she wouldn't have said that.
very, very good points indeed. Miss Ruby, what did you gather from that interview? What's your intake?
Wow, this is gonna be an interesting show because I am 100% in disagreement. 100%.
Mm,
And I'm going to
mm,
explain why. Because I have actually literally said the same thing or felt the same thing before. Not in
mhm,
comparison to my husband, mind you, in comparison to myself. So
mhm,
when you are used to, when you're younger, right? So when you're not married as a woman, right? You are hyper aware of male attention, right? It's there all the time, and you can see it, especially if you are an attractive woman. If you're an attractive woman, it's not even about guys hitting on you. It's about them looking at you and noticing that you exist. Um, and then
mhm,
what happens if you are a good woman, at least when you get into a committed relationship, you stop noticing the male attention. And then, so since no one's hitting on you and you're not looking around to see if people are looking at you, because the only person that you're checking for looking at you is your man, you start thinking that it doesn't exist anymore. And the longer that that goes on, the longer you're in this committed relationship, 5 years, 10 years, you start thinking like, man, I must have really lost it, right? You have those moments of insecure, like, I used to be hot, man. I remember I stopped traffic. Like, what happened? And I remember actually having a conversation similar to that with my husband. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't see people break their necks, turning their necks to look at you. And I was like, no, when does that happen? He's like, all the time. And like, I thought he was just lying to make me feel better. He said, okay, next time we go out, I'll show you. And he started pointing out every single person who looked at me, and I realized that I didn't notice anymore. Like, if he hadn't done that I didn't
mhm,
wear anything special that day, and if he hadn't gone out of his way to point out those people, those same people, I wouldn't have noticed those same people that day, despite the fact that he told me people were looking at me and I was looking for the attention. Um, so
mhm,
I'm saying that you have, and I realize though that I've had that conversation with every significant relationship I went through, because I was kind of like, man, I must have lost it. Okay, babe, what should I do? Should I work on my thighs for you or something? Because obviously I'm not as hot as I was when you first picked me up, right? And I don't want to let myself go because you expect a certain quality from me, and like, I've had this conversation, and then I realized it's just because I didn't notice it anymore because I didn't care anymore. And so if I'm with my man, which is mostly the time that I'm out, they're not going to hit on me. I'm walking hand in hand with my man. I'm not famous, so no one's coming up to me for my autograph. And I'm not looking around to see discreet glances because I don't care about them. So that's the first thing I heard. And then the second thing I heard is that she's with a very attractive man who's very famous. So not
mhm,
only is it going to impact that, because women, first of all, don't give a shit if you're married, okay, or whatever. If they're like, yo, rich guy and whatever, let me go smile up at him. And anyway, we do that. So we don't have that same buffer. So lots of women who are obviously flirting and whatever are going to come up and say, can I get your autograph and whatever. And then you're going to be comparing, just because you're always walking hand in hand with him, and when 600 people come up to him in a day, most of them ignoring your existence, men and women, are going to come up to him in a day, ignore your existence, and then on top of that, all that attention you used to be actively looking for, you just don't look for anymore. I can see how, it has an impact on a woman, especially one that is as beautiful as her. So she was used to, in her prime years, growing up when she was single, being noticed and getting that attention, and you get to walk home going, still got it, or whatever. So that's how I read it.
But why do a woman
Mhm,
need validation from another man outside of her husband?
If she needed
mhm,
validation from another man outside of her husband, she'd be looking for it. As in, so she would still
mhm.
notice that she still got it, because we can all look at this 30-year-old woman and see she's gorgeous, and we know that men everywhere are staring at her. We know they are, because we can look at her and see she's gorgeous. So the
Yes,
fact
she's
that she
definitely
doesn't
gorgeous.
notice, so the fact that she doesn't notice that men are still breaking their necks to stare at her tells you she doesn't need outside validation from her marriage.
But
You
she
know,
just, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. Oh no, no, y'all fine. Y'all both making significant points. My only interjection was another thing is too the reason why she's not getting attention because she's not putting herself out there to get the attention because she has put herself in the mindset of being a wife and a mom, and that's what happens to some women. Sometimes once we settle and lock in, we throw the attention out the door until you
Right,
start seeing your husband getting so much of it you forget, like, damn, am I still fine? Do I still look
right,
good? Yeah. So I don't
right.
think it's so much that she's not getting attention. She became a wife, and once you become a wife, you don't look for it as hard. But there will be those moments, like when the groupies approached her, you will forget, like, damn, do I still look good?
Yeah,
Especially when you have
And
yeah,
all
you
of
know
these
what?
yeah.
groupies.
That's understandable.
And I want to add to that, because it's, and you there's a very obvious point. There's two different points. So there's the point of whether or not you're looking around to see like covert people noticing you. So they're not talking to you, they're not approaching you, they see the ring on your finger, but they're looking at you and they're giving you the god damn girl look. So there's that. And then there's the energy you put out there that says you're looking for a man with or without a ring on your
So
finger, right? And
But see,
so
that's the other thing. Who's to say she's too busy noticing who's looking at him that she ain't noticing who's looking at her?
Looking at her,
Because
because
right.
she's so
because
into him, she's not noticing that it's dudes checking you out too. But you so busy looking at who's running up to him, showing the boobs and saying, "Can you sign my left titty with the
but you
Sharpie
know
marker?"
what? You know what's important though to notice is, I mean, obviously she leaves the house without him, right? So
Mm-hmm,
she wouldn't be able to make that comment unless, even when she wasn't with him, she wasn't putting out the energy saying, come approach me or come notice me, and she
mm-hmm,
wasn't looking around. Even when she wasn't with him, even when she's with her girls, even when she's in
mm-hmm,
other places, she wouldn't say, I get zero no looks anymore, right? Because she
mm-hmm.
would remember the look she got when she was
Right,
just out with her girls. So she's
right.
not looking for that attention. It's not that she's looking for external male validation at all. It's not about being validated. It's about
Mm-hmm,
memory. You remember when you used to step on the street, and even when you weren't trying to get male attention, this like
mm-hmm,
it was everywhere, right? And then all of a sudden you're
mm-hmm.
like, oh my God, no one even sees me. And it's not because they don't see you, it's because you don't see them.
See
And so
them.
she was
I
just
get what you're saying.
Right.
noticing something and sharing that, this thing that she noticed, not even realizing it's not true. Because how ridiculous is it that 30-year-old Ayesha Curry is not, she's not attractive enough to get male attention anymore? Like, come on.
And with all due respect, I think by nature, all women are insecure in some form or another. Now, some of us take the insecurity too far where we're trying to get
Right.
surgeries, we're trying to wear makeup every day. It's natural for a woman to have a little bit of jealousy. But I think in that world that she's in, I could only imagine because my husband, like I said, he just has a little roofing company. So the worst I have to worry about is, if a broad was to try to hit on my husband, she's basically going to be somewhat average. It's not a large percentage because he's just an average guy, making a decent living. But when you are with a man in the limelight to that
Mm-hmm.
status of that level, what's making it hard is because you have so many damn mosquitoes. You have to,
Right. I like that.
swat off of him. Because now is the thing. You got black women, white women, successful women, women who got nice bodies, who got nice shapes. They make a living. You have these groupies, they scout for NBA players like these damn who are the people who go scouting, like these scouting agents who go looking for NBA players. You got what's called these scouting groupies. They make it their business. They go to these events and make sure they wearing certain clothes. They make sure their bodies is fit. They know that sometimes women that are with athletes will let themselves go or will fall into that mode of a housewife or whatever. So basically, they got to market. They got to sell themselves. They got to have the tight bodies. They have to have their hair done, their nails done. Stuff that the wife don't have to fight and do because she already has her husband that black card, so she can get that done anytime she wants. But when you
Hmm.
on a prowl, it's and and you seeing all these women, I could only imagine what she has to go through.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. And let's remember though also that it's not even necessarily like about what she has to go through. Remember that women are programmed to
Mm-hmm.
value their relative place in the world based on their looks. Right? Because of 10,000
Right,
years ago, what was your biggest selling feature? Your genes, which is your looks. So even once you have a mate, a husband who gave you a baby, that's still your relative social position in life is your looks. So we're actually
right,
programmed to value that anyway. And even if
right,
it's not amongst men looking at us, it's amongst women. It's overall, we compete with women. Why? For male attention. We talk about that all the time when it comes to single women. But remember that
right.
as far as other things socially, beautiful people are treated better in the world. They just
Yep,
are. We know this, right? And so we're always competing socially. And what's the best way of women competing socially? It's through our looks. So we're programmed to have that in us, to care if we still got it, if we still look good. And we also know that if we let ourselves go and our husband is super high profile and super high
mm,
desired, well, I'm just gonna say, one thing. Anyone remember what Jesse did to his wife? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Gorgeous, gorgeous man, and he's got this woman who's ride or die, but at some point she doesn't look good in photos the way his new girl does. This is what happens. So you
Yeah.
don't want to let yourself go. You
yep,
don't want to look like the one that like he brought from his hometown and like, you could do better, bro. You don't you don't want to be
Right.
that one,
You want
right?
like
Because you
like
got to try to
they
keep
want
it.
like a dime piece, like
right,
a dime
Yeah.
piece, not no average regular degler schmegler chick that you knew back in high school.
Exactly. And
right.
so we know that that jealousy factor, just a little bit, if you're going to look for jealousy women, then you're doing it wrong, right? But I'm saying that when men see other men looking at their woman from afar, right? And in a, oh wow, look what he's got, right? That makes him feel he like, oh, see, I got something good on my arm, first of all.
Right.
And second of all, there's that little piece of jealousy. Like, you know what? If I don't treat her right, you know what I mean? She could actually go somewhere. I
Yeah,
I
because
have to I
people are
have to do
looking.
right
Right.
by her.
Men
She
are
could go
looking.
somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But see, this is the other catch 22 too. Now, men who are well experienced, who know the game, they don't care how attractive a woman. Oh, now don't get me wrong. They're gonna look at the looks because I've heard some guys say, "I used to be one of those guys. I will go after a woman because of how she looks." But I realize when women look a certain way, the ones who look all that got the tight bodies and got this and got the that, they are beasts to deal with. I've had guys say, I would be, I would look at my homeboys with these nice, gorgeous, drop dead, gorgeous, attractive looking women, but looking and seeing how the stuff he got to go through to please her, to make her happy. She wants to dine at the most expensive restaurants. She want her nails paid for 2, 3 times a week. So it's still those guys that are kind of like immature and still haven't figured out that even women of that status, their demands are going to be more excessive. Because you're not going to have a woman on your arms like that and think you can get away with just taking her to a Chinese food buffet. She's
Well,
going to expect the best. You know what I
that
mean? So
that's
Did you just wait a minute? Did you just say Chinese food buffet?
yeah, them type of chicks. No, you gonna have to take them to the finest restaurants. You
Yeah.
know, you gonna have to drive the nicest cars. You can't have a 2016 Toyota Camry, which I think they're. I like Camrys,
I
but
think those are, yeah, I think, yeah, that's true though. You know what I'm saying?
dealing with this type of chick, you may have to have a 2019 Lexus, or you may have
Yes.
to have a
Or
freaking
BMW. The
BMW or
BMW is
Mercedes
chick money.
Benz. She's too bougie and she's too high class. She's too high maintenance. So see, that's the other catch. Sometimes when you go after those type of women that look all kind of way, like they say, it costs to be the boss. All right, it costs to floss.
Right.
You want a woman that look good on your arms. You gonna have to step your game up. You cannot be working at no Popeyes. You can be the CEO of Popeyes, but you can't work there. Now, this is the other point I wanted to make. Y'all paying with this. So the thing is, this is the reality. What Ayesha has to understand. Her husband could very well slip. Because we've all heard
Yeah.
these stories before. Who
And
thought Tiger Woods was going to slip?
and
Remember
he
when all of these
I
groupies
did.
came out on Tiger Woods? Remember that?
I thought he was gonna slip. I don't know.
I
We'll
thought,
see.
yeah, I'm surprised he ain't.
I
Listen,
just,
I'm surprised he ain't slipped yet. I'm
I
surprised
just,
he ain't slipped yet.
I just didn't see. He just did. I know looks are deceiving, but Tiger Woods just ain't look like he was on that level. He
But
just
see,
looked like he
looks
was
are deceiving.
basking in the ambience
Never
with his
by his
Caucasian
color.
wife. You know, I thought he was just so happy, and then all of a sudden, all these women came out. But but this is besides the point. I just want to use him as an example. The truth of the matter is, what Miss Curry has to understand: this is the life she signed up for.
It
And
is.
and this could very well, he could very well, even though he's a good guy, there's a lot of temptation on that road when you gone for months at a time. Your wife is not in your presence, and you got these chicks sneaking in the
Starting
hotel
and
lobby.
bopping. Starting and bopping. Young,
Yeah,
young,
starting to
cute
popping.
chicks with the tight little body. Starting and bopping.
Yes, coming knocking on his door with no panties on.
You know what I'm
That way
saying?
they can get to the business right away. She ain't even
Yeah.
got to pull out her panties. She like the goddamn Little Caesars $5 pizza. She hot and ready. You get what I'm saying? These Little Caesar hoes be hot and ready, hot and ready. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to preheat it. She all
Look, she's
ready to
trained to
go in.
go. She trained to go. She trained to
Yeah,
go.
we got a lot of Little Caesar hoes hot and ready. Okay, so the thing is, she gonna have to deal with some of these Little Caesar hoes. That's gonna be sneaking and hanging out in the hotel lobby. Wait until he leave the hotel to watch
Sneaking
him go to his
in.
limo. He in the club popping bottles. She gonna be watching him and scoping him like, oh girl, you know who that is? Who's that? Girl, that's Steph. What? Yes, girl, I got to get that. Oh, he can get it. He can get it. Because every female know that one guy who can get it, and then it's the other
Mhm.
one who got the bag for it. Okay, so she already know which
Oh,
one he gonna automatically get it, and which one he gonna have to put in a bunch of. He gonna have to put in a lot of receipts before he even get to smell it. So we already know from the beginning, especially when they see him and his status, they gonna be hot and ready. Like, girl, I got to rush that. Okay, so they're gonna be scoping this guy, watching him in the club, walking up to him. Wife is not there. Can I get your autograph? What you doing tonight? We know how this goes. So she got to be prepared for that because it very well can happen.
yeah, that's a part of the territory. She already knew that going into the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
The question is, can you handle it? And if he do slip, would you be
Yes.
able to forgive him?
Exactly.
see, there's a
Exactly.
trade-off. There's a trade-off though,
Yes. Trade
because
off.
if you are attractive enough as a woman, and then on top of that, your non-sexual characteristics are high enough as a woman. And then on top of that, your children that you produce are gorgeous enough and you're willing to have more. you are literally the ultimate woman. And so there's a trade-off because now it's not
Mm-hmm.
just about whether or not he can get some, it's about whether or not he honestly wants to throw away what he has for what is being
Right.
thrown at him outside for free. Now,
Right.
I will say, right, and this is where it comes down to is, this is where especially women who are married to these, high profile guys, well, she wants to know that she's a 10 too. Because if she's a 10 in looks and she knows she got everything else up there on a 10 on lock, then she knows that it is a lot less likely that he would be willing to throw away something short and something amazing and something that good and that good looking for some bullshit out on the street.
But
Mm-hmm.
let's be honest. But let's be honest. Come on now. Some of these brothers out here have cheated on Vanessa Williams with a Shrek looking bitch.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
It's always that goddamn they all because let me tell you something.
Miss
Them kind of
America.
it's like this. Even if you got steak and potatoes at home, every now and then you may have a craving for a hot dog from 7-Eleven. Okay. So what happens is
You
so
ain't no joke.
I'm just saying he could have steak and potatoes at home. He gonna want a goddamn chili dog from Sonic's. You ever just said, I just want a chili dog? Like the other day, me and my daughter was like, I said, I just want a chili dog. And I got mad food at my house now. I wasn't
They
thinking about
do
no
food
pork
at
chops
that.
and steaks I got in my deep freezer. I wanted a goddamn quick, cheap hot dog with the chili and the cheese and the onions and the ketchup and the relish. I wanted a goddamn hot dog. And guess what? When that craving hit me, I had to go get it, and nothing was going to stop me from
Mhm.
getting that chili cheese hot dog. Okay?
But you know what though,
So,
Mocha? For as many
right.
men who are like
Mhm.
you and they're like, man, no matter what, I gotta have it, or someone puts it in their face, they can't help but eat it, right?
Right.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who have it's not even self-control, it's just it's built into them. They're not going to throw away something good for some trash on the street. So if they've got the five-star general meal, the
Right.
finest cut of Kobe beef
Right.
filet mignon with those $2 million butterfly shrimp things from the coast of wherever and blah 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 sitting at home, they're not gonna spoil their appetite with some 7-Eleven hot dog.
But
They're
but
just not gonna.
this well this is why I have a little slight disagreement at. I feel what you're saying, but I think at the same token, just because a man steps out there, it does not mean he wants to throw away what he has. Now, who's to say he steps out there? But it's not because okay, this is just something I feel like I can get away with quick. This is just me getting to have a little moment, but they don't mean for it to be no more than that. They not
Well, the
looking
thing though,
to
Mocha, there's a
Right.
bunch of different factors because they know every time a man cheats, don't let him get anyone twisted on this. He knows there's a
Mhm.
chance he'll leave. He knows there's a chance he'll come home with a disease. He knows there's a chance he could get that chick pregnant. He knows there's a chance
He
he's gonna get
knows,
caught
but
by
guess
the
what?
media. He
And
knows.
in the heat of the
So
moment, some
but
most
not
of them
everyone is willing. No, Mocha,
they,
some of them will. You're right, but not all of them
mhm.
are willing, and they
No,
are
not
less
all. I agree,
likely.
not all.
Right. And
Hmm.
so if someone who's standing on the border or someone who is, I mean, he's not a notorious whore. So some of them who are standing on the border or who are generally good guys, right? They're what they're assessing are their options all day, every day. And so what it comes down to, as long as the option at home is everything and more, and as long as it's not worth the risk, they won't take it. And so now she knows her man, then she'll know which one she's gotta, and she knows which one she's sending out on the road.
And see, now this is the other point, and this doesn't include the guys who already was out there. They just got lucky and nothing happened for them to get exposed. So I think for instance, and I definitely, you made a valid point with that. Men uh who know the risk factors involved, they're not going to take the chance of sabotaging their marriages, their households. But it's been many men who, and not all guys, because I want to put everybody in a circle, but what happens is sometimes some guys are too smart for their own good.
Right.
They step out and think that they love their wife, but it's one of those man things about, I'm just, hey, I ain't trying to be with this chick like that. I ain't trying to wife her like that. But hey, she easy. I'm out of town. Ain't seen my wife for months. Whoop de whoop de whoop. Not that I encourage this, but we have to be realistic that men come up with all kind of excuses in their mind to
Mhm.
to get to that level if that's what they really want to do.
Some
And
do,
it may.
Right.
but it's highly over publicized. What's the national
Mhm,
average amount of women that men have slept with? And this was a secret survey done. And honestly, it's the only way you were
mhm,
ever going to get the truth out of men about this. 7. That means
mhm,
some of those numbers are lower, right? Obviously, there
mhm,
are going to be outliers that are way higher. But in order for you to come up with the number 7, that means the
mhm.
average man, there's very few of them are that hoish with that high body counts,
And
right? I
that's
mean,
only, and if they're not, that's only because they have seen how so many other brothers who have done it got burnt. Child support don't ruin that. All of these side chicks who writing all these tell-all books. It's just that now a lot of them compared to how men were, I do believe that is not as many men that are willing to take that chance because it's too risky now. We got social media, we got, like I said, these chicks are getting knocked up, getting pregnant. The side chicks that's doing on a whole nother level of scandalousness right now. To
Yeah,
where
popping up
dudes
at the
be like,
woman's house, popping up at her job, trying to have a conversation with the
yeah,
wife.
right.
We're
But my
going the
thing
whole
is,
9 yards.
and that's true. But the thing is, and I get it, I'm not saying all men, but the truth is Steph Curry could get caught up. It could happen, and she needs to be prepared
Prepare
for that because
that.
it can happen. He's gone for months at a time out of town, or it's like being a fat kid in the cake store. You got all these cakes around you, and you're not going to sample none of them, even if he's a good guy. That doesn't take away his credibility as far as being a husband. That doesn't take away his credibility of being a good basketball player. But when you have all this temptation, you're a human being, and all of these women are surrounded around you, and things can happen. And she just needs to mentally, and it may not. He may be, like you say, Ruby, he may be one of them guys. Oh no, what's up, Shar? I'm not going to risk my house, my career. He may be one of those few, but even good guys could get bamboozled. It,
but you
it,
know
it,
what though? I
Very,
guess I
very
guess
it,
here's
true.
my thing though. He could be one or he could be the other. And like I said, my whole point is she knows which one she sent out there into the galaxy. And she knows which
right,
one is coming home to her. And only she honestly knows that. We can all speculate, but unless something happens that
right,
he gets caught for, we're still just honestly never gonna know. But I don't think that that's where
hmm,
her insecurity is coming from. You know what I mean? Like when
right,
reading, just getting an angle, like and reading about this and whatever, it seems again like
hmm,
more the insecurity is not about the fact that women are talking to him and asking for his autograph and saying,
hmm.
"Oh, honey, you knew what you signed up for." Like I think she's sharing that stuff more just because she thinks it's humorous. You know what I mean? Because she does know what she signed up for. She's not an idiot, and it's not brand new. Um, I think
And
that
I
insecurity
think
again
too.
came from being ignored almost like where's how, you get so much like a million people hit on you a day. I get 0 people who even look my way anymore. Damn, like I must be hideous. I think that's honestly, that's at least that's how I read it. I don't know.
I think she feeling some type of way. And that's why she vocalized it. I believe she seems like a chick that, like I said, we speculating because I never had coffee with her, never met her at Starbucks. I don't know her personally like that. But for her to verbalize it, she's feeling some type of way. It's not to say nothing deep went down, but she probably explained it to him. Well, I don't feel comfortable with these chicks. That probably was her way of throwing shade at the groupies. You know what I mean? That's her way. I feel like for her to even be boisterous and speak upon it, because she didn't have to answer that question, or she could have just
But
brushed it off and said, "Honey, I ain't even worried about that. All is good. Everything,
well, you
and
know
he's
what
coming
though?
through. Yeah,
But look at what she brought up though. though. She brought up the fact that she's breastfeeding her child, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of groupies wanting to take pictures and whatever. And she was kind of like, kind of busy here. And then they're like, "Yo, honey, you know what you signed up for." Okay, and so where it's like, listen, yeah, I know what I signed up for, but at the same time, it's kind of an invasion of privacy. Like, can you at least respect this private moment? And where the fans
Mm-hmm.
really don't care that much, because that's how much, like, I can see, because other people, other stars, men and women, have talked about that. Like, there's a respect level. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm out here feeding my kids, or whatever. Can you just back up? Like, I understand I'm a public
Right.
figure. I understand he's a public figure, but like, can we keep some things private? Like, it's, the baby's not going to eat forever. Just sit over there and wait for 2 minutes, and then when I put my boob back in my shirt, then can you come over, start taking the
Mm-hmm.
pictures? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that was, at least, again, that's how I read
Mhm.
it. It seemed more like something like that. Like, they're willing to invade any private moment, and that's
Yes.
kind of gross,
Oh,
you know?
And,
absolutely.
and I think
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think not only that, the statement where she would say that I'm a grown woman and she had to step in and say hello makes me think that when he gets in front of his groupies, she's not being acknowledged.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking for a long. She said he's very talkative. So 20 minutes into the conversation,
It's
and
like,
hello,
hello,
and
I'm the
I'm his
wife.
wife.
I'm
Right,
here.
Yeah, right.
right. And it's like, yo,
I still
babe, did you
exist.
gonna tell them I'm your wife or not?
Yeah,
Right? Like,
because
if we gotta
and
stand
here's
here for 45 minutes, can you at least like say, "Oh, this is my wife Ayesha. I don't know if you know her," and then go back to ignoring me at least? Like, damn, like
My point
and
exactly.
see, and that's
At
why
least.
he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And let's face it, these men are not good at multitasking. It's either
no,
too much of one thing and not enough for the next. They don't know how to back. Well, they're not as gifted in balancing. It's not that they can't. They're not as good as we are. And
not at all.
and and, and, and basically, he was stuck between a rock and a hard place. My wife here, but I got this groupie who want my autograph because if you piss off that one fan, they're going to talk about you like a dog on Twitter because that's what happened to the dude that I don't know how many of y'all out there are power fans. Amari Chadwick. I mean
Yep.
Hart.
I know.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. He plays on a couple of movies. When on your spare time, just look up his picture. When you're bored and got nothing to do. His name is Amari Hardwick. He's from Savannah, ironically. He's from my hometown. He's a very nice looking black man. He's very handsome. And he's married to a white woman. Okay. And I'm gonna say this nicely as I can. She's not what you would expect. Um, when you see him and her together. But I think she's an attractive white woman, just not what nobody had in mind. Okay. And
Right.
he had an issue. He got on the radio, and what he said was he got into it with a black female, which was a groupie, of course. And he's out with his wife, spending a little family time. Okay. She goes up to him and asks for a picture. She wants to do a selfie with him. Okay. So he tells her that, right now I'm with my wife, I'm spending time with my family. And when he told her that, this chick went ham. She went Waffle House. And you know how these sisters
Oh,
act up.
yeah.
She went Waffle
Yes,
House
indeed.
on him. Okay. And it was all over Twitter, all over Instagram. So he started, and some of these black females, it don't take much to rub one of us wrong. Everybody else was co-signing on it like they was there. So he had all these black female fans that are protesting against watching his show Power, which is a very popular show. 50 Cent is over, whatever.
That I
And
love.
he got a lot of heat from that. So Steph Curry, like a lot of athletes and rap stars, you have to be careful that even when you're trying to respect your wife, if you don't want your brand, because your career is your brand. So if you rub a fan the wrong way and you hurt their feelings, because I know me, sometimes I get starstruck. I had a celebrity hurt my feelings one time, and I'll never say his name, but I had one that was rude to me, and it totally turned me off to where I don't watch a show, I don't watch nothing with him on it. It just because sometimes as an average person, you get starstruck, especially when you don't see celebrities a lot. like here in Savannah, I rarely see a celebrity. So when we see one, it's like, oh my goodness, what they're doing here. So sometimes we get excited, and you only have that one moment to see that celebrity. You're not going to see them again. So it's like you capture that moment. And sometimes as fans, some of us are overly emotional. And I learned after that one particular celebrity shaded me, I've learned now I'm very careful. I don't care if I see LL Cool J walking with his wife. I'm not about to run up to him. I might speak and keep it moving. Because depending on what moment you catch these celebrities on, and if they got a jealous wife or a jealous husband, they may say something out of pocket because they're too busy trying to prove their loyalty to their spouse. But anyway, back to his situation. So he caught a lot of heat from that. He went on the show saying how the lady was very rude to him. And his thing was, he said, my wife, I hate when these people disrespect my wife. Now, it was two words that stood out to me. When he said these people,
And
I
this
knew he was
one was
talking about black women.
throwing me off
Y'all
right
caught
there.
that, right? But because I'm like, I knew that's who he was talking about. Because I'm like, I know it ain't the white men that's running you down. I know it ain't the black men, unless he's that way, but that's another story. I know the brothers ain't running you down. So when you said these people, I know you were talking about black women. So my thing is, as an athlete, as a celebrity, you have to learn how to make sure your wife or your companion is secure, but at the same time, you don't want to piss your fans off. Because one bad rep, they will protest your shows, they will protest your concerts. So you got to be careful.
Yeah, that's true. I just think, and honestly, I don't know, maybe it influences my understanding of her a little bit, just because, like I said, it's a feeling I've actually experienced before. But also because she's half Canadian. So
Mm,
now,
mm,
with that being said, right, I know that, I mean, America and Americans are different, than Canadians, right? Even you're
mm.
comparing black community to black community, it's like literally comparing apples to oranges sometimes. So, I'm not sure
Right,
exactly what cultural influences were really strong in her life, as far as attitudes and beliefs and just the perspective that you're coming from, right? Like, so when you make a statement, right, a woman here and a woman in America could make the same statement in the same tone of voice and it'll come off two different ways, right? Because
right.
everything behind it is very different. Um, and so sometimes, you know what I mean? And I saw it, I'm like, oh, she's half Canadian though. Right. And then all of a sudden, like, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I started thinking she must see it the way I do, right? Because she half
Mhm.
Canadian. I don't know which half of her is Canadian or whatever. I didn't look that deep into it, but still, right? So I do think that there is also a perspective to be looked at. And I know, I am sure most of the black community is on the same page. I know they are, right? And
Mhm.
that's where I'm like, nah, I know I have a differing opinion on this one. Because I saw it a
Mhm.
little bit differently, right? Because you don't see it a
Mhm.
lot. You don't see it a lot that these wives are, as far as looks, when you just, they're up there. And as far as
Right.
their achievements and stuff like that, like she did something. She didn't just sit back and do nothing. She did something. She did a lot of something. um
Exactly.
right? And she's
Mhm.
gorgeous and she's only 30. Like, damn. Like, you know what I mean? When you look at all of those factors, then, and she's still in prime childbearing years, even, then you're like, oh, I start evaluating her slightly differently. Honestly, I do. When you're just like nobody, from nothing, and you're like,
Right.
I with like a
Mhm.
lot of makeup on and the right kind of clothes on and whatever, especially after a kid or two, then all right, I guess we could work with you. Maybe we'll put you up there as an eight, maybe. Then I'm like, all right, I start seeing you as, you know what, you're insecure and you know what, you're bitter and you think everyone's trying to take your man and blah 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 blah. But I look at this chick and I'm like, I don't think so. I
Mhm.
don't know. I just honestly didn't read her in that way. I read her
Mhm.
as more like if anything, she's rolling her eyes like, okay, baby, like my feet hurt. Like, do we have to stand here all day talking to them? Like, not like,
Mm-hmm.
like, why you gotta be talking to these girls all the time and blah, 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 blah. Like, not like that, but like, okay, I seriously gave it 20 minutes. Like, we are gonna miss half the movie now. Can we go? Like,
I
you know what I
think
mean?
Right.
I think some women are what's called passive angry women, where no, I'm not going to be on some, oh, you so and so and so, I'm not going to blast you, but you have some of us as women, some women, we suppress our feelings. And she may be one of those women, I just, and of course, and I'm glad we all have a different opinion so we can share different perspective on it. But I personally think she felt some type of way. It bothers her. She's solid in her marriage now. She's solid, and she know her husband has her back and her best interest. But she felt some type of way. I don't blame her. I wouldn't
Yep.
want all type of females in my dude face too. I don't knock her for feeling some type of way, because it does get to be a bit too much. Some of these females are disrespectful. I've had one or two cases. It hasn't happened much, but I've been in a situation where a woman will speak to my husband first and didn't speak to me.
Very
And I'm
disrespectful.
like, really? And I'm not nowhere on Mrs. Curry's level to where I shouldn't feel some type of way. So, but it made me feel some type of way. And I could only imagine the way these females are now, because let's face it, a lot of us as women, we don't respect one another. We just don't. You have some females that, they will speak to your husband and act like you're not there, or, they'll try to be funny and hold a conversation with your man too long, like you
Yeah.
slow, and you
Maybe
ain't picking
that's
up on
the
what
And
she's
and
doing.
slow
maybe
moves.
maybe the
Turns
problem
out
is
to
this. I don't care about any of what you just said. I'm not the one. Like, if a man was trying to
Mm-hmm.
make a play to try to get me jealous to notice him, or I don't care. I you could
Mm-hmm.
I've literally had a girl trying to like prove
Mm-hmm.
to me like, oh, I know your man more than you do.
Yeah.
Literally sit on his lap, and then he wasn't even minding her, and then she started like wiggling her ass and looking at me, and I
oh
was like,
yeah, yeah. She was
I don't
looking
give a
for.
shit. Like, I seriously
That's
thought the shit
so
was
hard.
funny as fuck, right? Like, no,
But
honestly. So
I
because I'm
understand
not
that,
the one who cares at
sis. I
all, like
understand.
whatever you're
I
doing isn't my.
understand.
Hold on, hear me out. Because whatever,
Mm-hmm.
listen, my man is either gonna step out on me or he's not. I'm not even really that jealous when it comes to infidelity. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm more
Mm-hmm.
about honesty. So if you cheat on me, I should know about
Mm-hmm.
it. But that being said, I don't care. So because I don't care, I'm coming from my perspective on a lot of these issues. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to 600 million women. I'm the one who's gonna be like, okay, but
Mm-hmm.
we've really been standing here for 40 minutes and we're going to be late for the
Mm-hmm.
movie. And I wanted to see this movie and the tickets are sold out.
Right.
Otherwise, can we go? I'm the one who's literally actually coming from that perspective, not saying it like in a low shade, passive aggressive way. Like, I'm not saying there's not
Right.
women who aren't all of the other things. I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I wouldn't be the one. That's all. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get that in
Mm-hmm.
there. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's
Mm-hmm.
understandable, and it's definitely understandable that you wouldn't care. I could definitely understand that. It's just the principle of the thing of the disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Sitting
Mm-hmm.
on his lap, twirling her hips, trying to make it seem like she know your man more than you. You know what I'm
She's
saying?
not my friend.
That's
Even if she did
disrespectful.
have sex with him
And,
before,
and
I don't give a shit. Like,
And
so.
I get it. It's the saying, different strokes for different folks. What may not irritate another woman because you're secure within yourself. Okay, boo, you
Mhm,
think you got it like that? Okay, good. But some other women, they no, you're not gonna try me. Now
mhm,
I'm both, depending on the situation. Now at times I could be a don't give a damn. If you somebody who I just know ain't nothing and you just seeking attention, I can brush it off. Even knowing that at the end of the day, my husband's paying my bills, he's taking care of me, I could throw it off. But in some situations, when I see she's just doing way too much, and I
Like
respect it. Some
like
women,
getting
another
physical.
woman can't rub them no kind of way, no matter what. I get that, but some of these women, they be trying you. They
Real.
will really
mhm,
try you at
mhm.
times, and it's not even so much about him because I know he can handle
Yeah,
himself. I'm
it's
saying
start.
is,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's you're
as
making a
another
good point.
woman, you a woman. Why are you disrespecting me? Because I know he can handle himself at the end of the day. I can't guard his dick. I can't guard it. I can't swap other women away from it. But just some of these chicks, they just be doing too much. And sometimes you have to call them out and be like, no disrespect. I ain't gonna cuss you out. I'm not gonna act like Shakisha up in a Waffle House, but I'm gonna say enough to where you know, okay, I'm peeping what you're doing.
Right.
Chill out. Now, this is the other factor too. Sometimes as women, we have to be careful displaying our insecurities because other women play on it. You know, if another woman, because you got some women out here who are so bitter and they get a rise out of seeing you upset. So I understand, Ruby, that you
That's
know
exact
you're
facts.
and that
Facts.
is the
Right
best
there.
approach.
Right there.
That
Even
is
if
the
it
best
upset you,
approach.
even if it upset you,
You
don't
can't
let
let
it
them
upset
see
you.
it
Don't say, listen,
because
I'm
they
telling
will let
you,
you try.
it's
They'll
one of
try
two
you.
things I do. Exactly. It's one of two things I do.
Mhm.
So even if it gets to me a little bit, right? Because you know, there's time, like
Right.
you said, they're really trying you and they're doing it on purpose, right?
Exactly.
I'm gonna react the
Yes.
same way that I know I'm gonna react when I'm watching you like you're a science experiment, and I just want to see how far you're gonna go and make a clown of yourself in public. And I do. I watch people. I just watch people like they're experiments. Like I just want to see what's gonna happen. And I react the same way. And eventually, like, see, I find actual amusement. Like you're like it's like watching like an 11-year-old try to be sexier than
Try
me.
to
Like that's
pimp
how
for
I kind of see
attention.
it.
Yeah.
Like you look so sad. Like okay,
And
but
now
do you, boo? You keep
I agree
trying.
with that because when a woman knows you're fretful of her, because some women are that mischievous. If
Mm-hmm.
they feel they can shake you in
Yep.
any shape or form. They gonna try to ruffle your feathers because not even with groupies like my husband's ex-wife. It's been times she really tried to call my bluff, and say things and do things and throw little undercover shade.
Right.
And I could have acted on it so many times, but my thing was, I'm like, I refuse. And there's been times I did act on it. I'm not gonna lie and say I've always been undercover. I've gotten better now that I'm older. But when I was younger, I would play into her game, and it seemed like she had got a rise out of it. So when I stopped playing into the game, it was like you said, Ruby. It was like a little 2-year-old that was walling around on the floor in Walmart because they
He
can't
ended
get
up
that
looking stupid.
or they can't get that candy bar. They're walling around on the floor, break dancing, and acting like a goddamn fool because I can't get attention, so I'm gonna act out. And her childishness stood out even more when I
Hmm.
stopped playing into her game. So I can agree with that. It is best if you can, to my ladies out there. If there is an issue with some woman coming at your man sideways, like Ruby said, earlier, Beyond said it in the chat, and Kels, you even mentioned it. It is better to, keep your composure
I
and you deal
agree.
with it behind closed doors. Because the moment they see you cussing your man out, what you looking at her for? Oh, you don't
The
see me
reaction
on
she's looking
this
for.
chick is laughing.
Because that's the reaction she's looking for. So yes, I totally agree with that. I
Yeah,
totally agree with
yeah.
that. And after listening to Ruby, yeah, I could totally understand.
It
Right.
is. It's reverse psychology type of thing. That it's a strategy
Right.
that you
Yep.
that you have to
Because
utilize.
see, put it this way. If she really okay, and this is just like I mean, unless your man is a flagrant, blatant idiot, and cheater, which in that case, what are you doing with him?
Right.
Right.
Right? If he's gonna get some chick's number and if he's gonna call her and if he's gonna sleep with her, it's not gonna be the one who would do something like that with you, obviously, right there. Right? So she's just hurting herself. And then on top of that, like she's hurting so much for male attention and validation
Mm.
that she's gotta sit there and try to see if she can get your man to notice her while you're right there. Like it's so pathetic.
It
Like it
really
tells me
is.
so many things
Mm.
about you. You know what I mean? Like I would
Mm.
feel more ways about the one that I caught talking to my man in a dark corner. Do you know what I mean? Because like he went in the
Mhm.
dark corner with her. You know what I mean? Like he didn't sit somewhere where it's clearly safe. Clearly nothing can happen. I'm still here. Everyone can see me. My hands are over here at my sides, right? Whereas in
Mhm.
he's in the dark corner. I don't know what the hell he's doing up in that corner. You know what I mean? I don't know all what happened before
Mm-mm.
I walked around the corner. You
And
know what I mean? I would feel more
no,
ways
you
about that.
exactly. And the truth of the matter is, let's be frank. If a person wants to step out on you, you being a guard dog, it's not going to
Ain't gonna
stop you.
help you.
It's not,
No,
and
no,
it's not going to
no.
It's,
change.
and a lot of women make this mistake. They feel like, they got to be on everything that their husbands or their companions do. And the bottom line is, if he wants to go out there, you approaching every woman, you confronting every woman, it's not going to stop him from doing whatever. If it's in his nature, if he does not respect the marriage or the relationship enough, you're not going to be able to fight enough of mosquitoes off. He's just going to find another mosquito to bite on him anyway.
Well,
You
and think
know.
about it like this way too.
Hmm.
Another thought to think about is this: is that if you smother him enough
Right.
with accusations and limitations based on punishing him for something he didn't do, guess what? He's gonna
And
go
do it.
escape prayer,
Right.
Yep,
and
that's true.
especially now
And
he has a choice. He's suffocated, right? Like
That's
what do
true.
you expect? You're basically driving him to do it. And you hear men say it, and women need to stop thinking that men and women think the same. Men, you hear
No, we
men say it all
don't.
the time. Well, if you're gonna treat me like I'm a cheater, then I'm gonna act like
it's a
one. Because
cheater. Right.
where's my benefit in not being a cheater? Where's the trust? Where's the, whatever?
Mm,
I'm not getting nothing from being good to you. Just being able to have you sit there and constantly accuse me of cheating on you or trying to cheat on you or wanting to sleep with someone else, what's the point? So he's gonna be like,
mm.
hey, that chick over there is telling me what a good man I am. So, hey, why don't I go over there and for one night have a woman at least tell me how what a great man I
You
am?
know,
Just
exactly.
saying.
Yeah, you just have to, and that's very true. Sometimes you make matters worse if you become a prison guard type of wife.
Mm-hmm.
You already are companion. Anytime this man, he doesn't pick up his phone within 5 minutes, or you checking the mileage on his car. You said you was going to go to 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is 5 minutes up the street. It took you 20 minutes to get back here. So what you did the other 15 minutes? You can't, when you smother a person, they will rebel. They will rebel. And at the end of the day, we have to realize you're not their moms. You're just their wives. You're their companion. You're not
Yep.
supposed to, be trying to run their life, tell them what to do, because at the same token, I want my freedom. Now, because this is another thing, because it can go both ways. For instance, I can't hang around who got husbands. Now, me and my mom was talking about this earlier today, and I don't know what made us get on the subject, but we was talking about how some women, their husbands are so controlling to the point
Mm,
to where they cannot have friends, they cannot have family come to their house because
Late
their
that.
husband is like a freaking guard dog. So I don't. Do either one of y'all watch Teen Mom? I've heard of it.
I've heard
I've
of
heard
it.
of it, but I never watched it.
But y'all don't keep up with it. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I don't want to bore anybody to death. But one of the females on that cast, her husband has been very controlling from the start. And basically, what happened was she had been on the show for a long time and she had been making a lot of money off of the show to where she's been able to benefit the proceeds, bought her a nice home. She's one of those longevity reality stars that made good. Unlike a lot of them, they fall off and you don't hear from them no more. Okay, she was doing pretty good. She met this guy, married him, and married him quick. Now, what a lot of women have to realize, when you on these shows like this, you become a target, because especially when you've been on it for a long time and you become a star, you have people that feel like you got money. So you have to be even more careful and more selective about every guy that approaches you. So basically, long story short, this guy caused her to lose her contract as of yesterday. Her name is Janelle Eason and her husband is David Eason. They
Yes,
in
I
the
heard of
beginning,
this too. I heard of this chick. I can't believe it, but I've actually heard this story. Yeah, sorry, please continue.
yeah. No, no, absolutely right. I'm glad y'all have an idea about it. What happened was she when she put him on a show, he was basically, everybody saw right through him. The guy was an abuser, because let's face it, guys that are really abusive, they're not really undercover about it. They don't care if your family around, your friends around,
Nope.
they will talk to you any kind of way. I'm sure y'all can relate. If y'all have friends or somebody y'all know who had a controlling husband, they have no filter. They don't care who's standing around when they talking to you and mistreating you all kind of way. So he was already doing a lot in front of the cameras. He was already doing too much, being controlling, causing her mom to not get along. He was just doing the whole goddamn lot. So anyway, the first thing he did was he made a homophobic comment on Twitter. Now, this was when they was filming him too while he was with her. So keep in mind, when your spouse is on a show like you, they get money too. Okay, so he was getting bread like she was, all right. And you can tell he don't have a job. He ain't got nothing going for himself because he got too much time. Anytime I see a man around his wife all the time, I know you ain't got no job, because a real man ain't got time to be up under his wife's ass 24/7. So I already knew he was an unemployed Floyd or whatever. So, but he was making money from the show too. And he made a homophobic slur on Twitter. MTV got a hold of it. All hell broke loose because the majority of their viewers are within that lifestyle. Okay, so when you on the show or you doing certain things, there's certain things you can't say. Because if you piss off the wrong type of crowd or the wrong audience, it could hurt your brand. So he made a statement that a lot of them did not like. So MTV had to remove him off the show. Okay, so when they took him off the show, it caused even more problems between him and her, because now he's not on the show where he can control everything. And what would happen is when they was filming her, when the producers was filming her, this jackass, he would try to come out so the camera could catch him. Okay, knowing he's not supposed to be seen. He knew that. So what the camera crew would have to do is, the moment he popped up on the scene, they shut down production immediately. And I kept saying, he's going to lose that show. She's going to lose that show because of him. She's going to lose that brand because he's not one of them guys. He's not going to let up. He's jealous because his wife is in the spotlight. He's not. He's going to pull something. I just didn't know what, because he just kept doing all kind of stuff behind the scenes because he knew he no longer could be on camera. So the recent thing he did was he shot her puppy. He shot her puppy because the puppy, you know how puppies, get playful and sometimes they appear as if they're going to bite you. Well, basically, he thought the puppy, because the puppy snapped at his daughter. Now, it's a tiny puppy, no bigger than the size of a microwave. He slammed the puppy and he killed the puppy. Okay, so that caused a big uproar because you got a lot of animal lovers out there. People don't like stuff like that or whatever. So once that happened, now MTV is saying, we got to let you go too. And she's been on this show for every bit of 12 or 13 years. So now her checks and the income she was making, he done ruined that. And that's what happens when you have a controlling husband or a controlling boyfriend. They make you lose everything.
Yep, yep. I heard about
Oh,
that,
that is a
and I'm like,
serious downfall.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time. We knew it was going to happen. And it happened yesterday. They got rid of him. When
well,
you have a,
yeah, because they had to get rid of him. What are you supposed to do when you're sitting there? And so all of that, you threaten the show's producers, like they're not working with
right,
that man anymore. And
Right.
then, it comes down to on the show, now they have to work out the logistics. It does can they logically continue to film her while literally having no contact with that man ever, and him not being in any scene and no mentions of his name and blah blah blah? Can they actually do that? And so if they can't, then is she valuable enough at this point? Yeah, sure, she's been there for 12 years, but the show's called Teen Mom. Is she valuable enough to keep her, or do they get in some fresh blood? You know what I mean? That's it. He
yeah,
just ruined a cash cow. Ruined your
he
cash
did.
cow. Gone. Yep.
Pretty
He
much.
did. He did, and now everybody's saying now that he really going to turn up because he's really crazy. I mean he just done so much stuff. Now the next thing is what everybody is saying is now she's going to have to be careful, because once those checks are not coming in, now he has to work and provide.
Uh-oh.
Hmm.
All the weight is going
Good
to be
luck.
on him.
Uh-oh.
Now
Good
keep in
luck.
mind, you've been unemployed Floyd all this time. You
Hmm.
ain't been working. So this is what happens. That's why you have to be careful who you link up with and who you marry. And because sometimes, depending on who you marry, whether if your husband or your wife, they could cause you to lose everything you work for. Because you would think that sometimes if you get certain blessings that your husband or your wife will celebrate you, sometimes your own companion will get jealous of you and make you lose everything. And they're not looking down the road like, hey, we all can win from this because you're too busy being a hater. Some people are married to people that's hating on them. And it's sad if your own wife or your own husband is hating on you, especially when your blessings is going to make both of y'all win. What's up, Lord Drag? Appreciate you for coming in. I can't understand that. I can't understand why a husband or a wife will ruin their companion's empire, all because you're jealous, you're a hater because your wife or your husband is doing well. Why not sit back and enjoy the fruits versus trying to sabotage the blessing?
Well, for them though, I feel like they're two peas in a pod because if I remember correctly, that is the most disrespectful,
Yes.
undisciplined little girl on the planet.
Oh,
So
yep,
she just went and
yes,
found a
yes,
male version of her, right? So
yes, yes.
there you go. Two childish people
Idiot.
who don't understand the consequences of their actions and don't care about the consequences of their actions, who act like they're still 7-year-olds throwing temper tantrums whenever they feel like it, and they don't even say sorry afterwards. They blame you. Right. So what I think at the end of the day,
Mm,
what he's expecting from here now, well, man, he's gonna sit there and rub his face and blame the producers and blame the fan, blame
yeah,
everyone, and then he's gonna
yeah,
tell her ass to go get up in that welfare line and go make sure her baby bonus and her welfare check is in check. That's
girl.
what's gonna happen. He ain't working.
Yes,
Nope,
yes,
never gonna be that. Mm-mm.
yes. You
Before you
were
break things
100%
down, I
right.
see when you break things down.
No, yeah, she's 1,000% right because once we found out she lost that contract, I said, Lord, her marriage really in trouble
It
because
really
like
is.
when it
You in
first
trouble.
initially happened, when he was acting up like he was doing, that should have been her sign. Then it's better to end the show versus the show firing you. That way, if she would have divorced him later on down the line, she would have had that open door to come back. But what's going to happen is when things go left, which they are, because they're not going to get those teen mom checks anymore. They're not going to. She's not going to get them $100,000 checks, and because that's her job. That's what she was getting paid to do. She was getting paid to do the show. And what's going to happen is when the checks stop being deposited, y'all got these big old houses. Y'all got this big house. You got all these kids that you have conceived throughout the show on Teen Mom. You're not really getting any child support from their fathers or anything. So y'all are going to have to go back to the real world and work real jobs. You may have to be a cashier at Walmart. I don't know what he's going to
No,
do,
how many
but
kids does she have again?
she has three
Oh,
now.
she don't have to work. She's gonna make way more money from not child support. What's it? Yeah, she's gonna. Well, all those men who are like, yeah, I don't have to pay child support. They're now paying child support because she needs welfare and baby bonus and whatever else you get for having kids these days. Because she doesn't have any life employable skills. She has like even
She's a
temperament.
reality
She has
star.
no employable
Right.
skills. She ain't working. So right now, what's gonna happen is she's gonna go and apply for all of that stuff, social benefits, and mama's gonna have to work a lot harder and try to balance
Mm.
books to try to make ends meet and whatever, but they're probably gonna lose everything because at the end of the day, mama can't work 15 jobs, which is what she's gonna need to try to recoup their income. So I don't know,
Yeah,
because
because
yeah.
once you get used to that lifestyle, you done got used to though. When you get used to them big checks, it's hard to readjust, and that's
Yeah.
where they're
Mhm,
going to struggle because, like you said, there's already a lot of immaturity. They both
mhm,
don't know how to deal with their anger. All of that is going to come into play on top of them losing the income they're used to having. So I just from here on out, we just see it being a disaster because he's
yep.
on YouTube. He has guns with a bunch of bullets. He's doing some really off the wall weird ass stuff, man. Something's wrong with him, and a lot of people are catching on to it, and that's why those producers, they didn't want to deal with him anymore anyway. So I'm sure MTV, it was looking for them to mess up because they've been wanting her to cut ties with them. They
Mm.
were just doing too much. He was too disrespectful. So I know for MTV, in a sense, they are relieved because now they don't have to deal with them anymore.
But you know what though? If they're smart, which they're not, but if they're smart and they have any kind of manager, they'll start a YouTube channel.
I
Because
was
these
thinking that.
days, their asses are just all they need to do is start a YouTube channel. Overnight, basically, they're gonna have 100,000 views just for them to
Yep.
vlog about their
Mm-hmm.
dysfunctional lives, one on one. That's all they'll have to do,
And
and they're
people
gonna
will
they're gonna have
donate.
their name
Yeah.
right back up.
People
Yep,
will donate while they. People will donate up their ass.
yep.
And only thing is, this the crazy part. He's abusive, but then he's private
He's
at the
Hmm.
abusive, but
same
then he's
time. And
private.
I know some guys like I know some men, and I know all men are not abusive, but the
Hmm.
ones I know, men that have abuse issues, they have the audacity to want to be so sacred about what goes on in their house. I know a family member personally who has been getting abused for many, many, many years within the
Hmm.
marriage. And he has gotten her so programmed to where he has taught her to be tight lipped about everything. He has
Yeah.
taught her that what goes on between him and her, she don't need to express it. She don't need to explain it. You can go to the house and you can sense that they just got finished throwing dishes. They've been throwing down, and yet she will still keep a smile on her face. She will still try to keep her composure, and you can just tell the vibe that you pick up from there is that this woman is being abused, and women that are being abused and that are constantly being controlled, they hold a lot of secrets, and these are the ones that you hear about years down the line on the news. They body in the back of the woods somewhere.
Hmm.
Something happened because it been going on.
Well, yeah, but that's because so there are stages to abuse, right? People say, "Well, why would you be with some abusive guy?" Well, you have to remember they don't start off that way. They don't walk into the relationship date two, they're beating your ass and then you're like, "You know what though? He's got pretty eyes. I guess I'll stay." No, it's a
Mhm.
gradual thing. And one of the first things that they do is they isolate you. And they don't isolate you rapidly. They don't say, don't talk to your sister anymore, right?
Right.
What they do is they wait till your sister makes some type of suggestion about the way you go on, and then they go, can't you see that she's jealous, right? She's always jealous of your happiness. She's been like this your whole life. She doesn't want you to win. She just knows that what you have is so much better than what she has, babe. Don't worry about it. And then what happens is they reinforce these ideas in your mind, like, well, you should stay away from your sister because she's jealous of you, right? You should stay away from your mom
Mm.
because she's trying to ruin you. You should stay away from that friend. She's always been a bad influence on you, trying to make you lose your job,
Right.
right? And they start telling you stuff like that, and so now you isolate yourself more and more and more and more. People show more and more concern, and the more concern they show, the more you end up being talked out of it and isolated. So the fact that you're entirely alone, no one to run to, no one to give you influence and opinions and this and that. Then he beats your ass. But by then, you're already isolated from everyone. And he's counting on the fact that you're not going to run to anyone and hear the I told you so, or risk the fact people are going to slam their door in their face because you know what? You didn't want to hear it before it happened and blah, blah, blah. And then, the worse it gets and the worse it gets, the more you stay out of fear. And now you're in survival mode. It's learned helplessness syndrome. You learn that even if the door opens, you're still inside your cage. So what you're trying to do is survive now. You're just trying to not make him upset so that way the beating goes away, and things go back to the way they were. Because remember, he never tells you he beats you because he's a piece of shit. He tells you he beats you because you made him so angry, and he wishes you wake up in the morning to 2 million roses. He wishes that you wouldn't
Mm.
make him so angry, and he's so sorry. It'll never happen again, and so on and so forth, right? So it's a whole entire process that happens, and people don't realize it's slow and it's hard to see when you're on the inside of it. And so now you're getting your ass beat every day and you're just trying to do everything right. So he goes back to being the one you met. But he was never the one you met. He was a predator and you were his prey, and he knew what to do to clinch you on his hook. And that's what he did. And they're very clever. Like again, it's like a lion stalking deer.
They
That's
are.
basically what it is. Yeah.
They
Hmm.
are. Now, when y'all get a chance, I sent a little private chat in a Google Hangout. So I wanted to get y'all okay. If y'all get a chance to glance that. It's not on a chat in the bottom. It's a chat. I posted it on the side in the Google Hangout or whatever. But absolutely, I think this is something that, unfortunately, a lot of women are experiencing, and this is a touchy subject. A lot of, because men get abused too, so it's not something that just happens to women. It goes both ways. So, moving on to the next topic. Me and Kels was kind of talking about this earlier. We was talking about it's a lot of women in the YouTube streets that are trying to remain in the good graces of the men because they fear being ridiculed. They fear that if I don't agree with everything that they're talking about on their content, if I just kind of be a yes, yes, yes type of female, I don't have to worry about pissing the guys off or making the men upset with me, or these men who have panels. I don't have to worry about them, you know, basically, ridiculed me or spazzing out on me, as
Or get
long as I kind of just go with the flow and kind of agree and don't rock the boat. What is y'all opinion on that? Because I'm noticing in some of these YouTube streets, and without saying names, that some of these women, when they go to these predominantly male channels, they will pretty much go along with whatever the men say because they are afraid that if they have an opinion, or if they say something that the men don't agree with or does not align with the message, that the men are going to ridicule them or ban them indefinitely from their channel. And then in some cases we see these women do it, but behind closed doors they're contradicting themselves with other women, like they for the women, but when they get on around these guys, they want to pretty much be a part of the team. So they try to go with the flow of the guys, knowing they really don't feel that way. What is your opinion on that? Or if you haven't done it, have you seen it done? And it just kind of, what is your opinion on women who kind of flip flop pretty much?
yeah, yeah, I've seen it, and my opinion on women that flip flop are the ones who be trying to be a part of something. Like you just want to be in a group, or else you'll just be genuinely you and let people accept you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much
I
another
mm-hmm,
term of validation.
Mm, mm.
mm-hmm,
Okay, okay, good point.
yep,
What's your opinion
yep.
on that, Ruby? Have you ever like witnessed it, or what do you think about women who try who do things like that? You know, and
Yeah,
I sent y'all a
I mean,
message to y'all
obviously,
Yahoo.
obviously, we're gonna talk about. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, obviously, there's a big proportion of women who frequent, let's say the channels in the manosphere, where there is a high concentration of Black men, and they're basically they agree with anything that's said. You know what I mean? Like you could literally be talking about them, and they'll be like, "Yeah, women are like that, man. That's why." And this is when that that something's starting to go wrong is when every time someone says something about Black women, it doesn't matter what it is, they agree and they go, "That's why I don't have female friends. That's why I don't have female friends." That's their answer to
Mm-hmm.
everything. That's why I don't even have female friends, right? That's why I keep to myself. Really, I mean, and there are times where that's a valid answer, but if that's your answer to every damn thing, you know what I mean? Because you don't have anything else to say. You don't have anything else to contribute to that. It looks to me like what you're doing is you're just agreeing. Yeah, you want that male attention. You want male
Right.
validation, and what you want is to be worshipped,
Mhm.
because the way they see it,
Mm.
worshipped as one of the proverbial unicorns, right? And so you would like to be put up on what you feel is a social pedestal here in the YouTube streets, because in the real world you are that
Mm.
unvalidated and that
Social
irrelevant with
pedestal.
so
That's
little
a good one.
attention that the only place you're ever going to get any type of social pedestal, you didn't get it in grade school, you didn't get it in middle school, you didn't get it in high school, you didn't get it in college, you ain't getting it now at work, in the streets, in your family, with your friends. You can't get it anywhere, but the one place you might get it is on YouTube, where no one knows that that selfie was taken in really flattering light from a really flattering angle, and you did a lot of editing afterwards, so that's not really even your photo, but it was the best you could do, the closest approximation you got to what your real face looks like. And none of those opinions and none of those actions have anything to do with you, because you aren't that woman at all, but you know that
Mhm.
that's what the men here want and that's what they like. But the thing is, you don't agree with any of it, because if you did, then when you hit someone else's channel where those aren't the same opinions being expressed, then you would still have the
Mhm.
same opinion, wouldn't you?
Right.
Obviously, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Obviously. But what
Mhm.
happens now, it's like Cal says, like, listen, it's like they want to be part of something. No, what they want is validation. What they want is someone somewhere to finally say, see, girl, yeah, that's right. You got the right idea. I'm going to bring you into the inner circle. I'm going to let you sit at the cool kids
Mhm.
table. You're finally
Exactly.
going to be someone,
Right.
because they're nobody. Because if they weren't nobody, they wouldn't have to try so hard. They would just come online and speak their opinions, and who likes them for it, and who doesn't. It is what it is,
Mhm.
right? They would go somewhere, speak their real opinions, and eventually, like attracts like. They would end up somewhere with a bunch of people who, if not see the world exactly the way as they do, but we're around the same wavelength, right? Like, we don't agree on everything, but we're around the same wavelength, like, overall. Whereas then there's other channels, there's a lot of female channels I don't frequent, because I can't get on the
Mhm.
wavelength of the women there. I can't. I don't care. In my
Right.
loneliest place, I could get banned from every channel elsewhere. There's a lot of channels I'm not going to, right? Like, I don't care. I can't even
Yeah.
pretend I don't think what you're saying is vile. But these people, they don't have
Mhm.
opinions on anything. The only opinion they have is like me, like me, like me. That's it. That's all they got.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Hmm.
That's
Oh,
perfect.
did y'all see the email I sent y'all?
Yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
responded.
yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me check it.
Okay, yeah, yeah, just yeah, uh-huh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, so you saw it, Kels? Okay, I'll wait
Yeah.
till classic season. Um, yeah, I just, my thing is, I understand everybody operates their channel differently. And I would never try to go anywhere where I feel like I have to basically dress up and be on my best behavior just so
Yes.
I don't get ridiculed.
Hmm.
Because the truth of the matter is, like I tell some people, sometimes if somebody or has a programmed way of thinking, if somebody's already programmed, it's kind of like this. If they're as a black woman, if you're programmed to not like black men, you're programmed to hate black men, you're programmed to have so much animosity towards black men, then even if a black man is speaking to you politely and is not being aggressive and not out talking you and he's being respectable, but the moment he disagrees, you're going to automatically feel some type of way. Because again, it's that program thought. It's that thought that has already been embedded and programmed into you feeling the way you feel. So I feel like sometimes, even when you have the best intentions and you try not to rub somebody the wrong way, if that person already has a preconceived prejudice or biasness about something, it's not going to matter. it's really not going to matter because again it's already programmed in their mind. If it's programmed in a woman's mind to not like a black man or to have issue with black men, it don't matter if a man is coming from a black man is coming from a good place and trying to give her constructive criticism. She's going to automatically take it the wrong way. Like, I got I don't care how you saying it. It's making me feel some type of way. So some people, you can't really vibe with them intellectually. You can't do a panel with them. Just some people you can't, because they got, again, it's these preconceived prejudices that they're not going to let anybody break them from.
I'm muted. That explains a lot. I'm like, I feel like something's wrong. Like, it kind of feels silent when I'm talking. Okay. Yeah, no. That's so true. That's so true. Sorry. I answered though. I said it's all right. It's good.
No, you
So,
were fine.
hmm oh no,
Yeah,
I
no,
meant
you were
to your
fine.
email. To your email, I answered. I don't know if you got that. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And I said,
Gotcha.
yeah, it's
Okay.
good. So let's do that.
Okay,
Um.
okay, okay. hmm
hmm But
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead
I,
and speak on it, Ruby.
I was gonna say, here's the thing. Again, we have in our community, a lot of our community are a bunch of grown ass children, and they're
Yes, Lord.
really in this place psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, where they're still in about somewhere between the ninth and the 11th grade. They just never got out of that. And a lot of people who the same things you were looking for on your sweet 16th birthday are the same things they're looking for at 35, as far as life. And for some reason, I guess a lot of people, because you're told, oh, don't worry, high school is just a phase. For the people who weren't at the cool kids tables and whatever, high school is just a phase, so where you're going to get out there into the big world, you're going to meet people who are more like you, blah blah blah. And so now they got out there and they figured out that the rest of the world is not a fishbowl, right? It's not a hundred
Mhm,
people all, confined into a box for 4 years straight. So you have no choice but to interact with only each other and social crime only with each other, and everything stays pretty stagnant otherwise. And so they never get the chance to relive what they wish were their glory days and this time do it better. They never get a chance to fix what they feel, now they finally grew some boob or some ass, or now
mhm,
they finally understand what they were doing wrong in high school. Now their braces finally came off, and so now they're like, all right, I'm ready to compete now, but there's no more
mhm,
fishbowl, right? And that's where YouTube is perfect, because YouTube makes a fishbowl, right? Because you got a sector, so you got the black sector, but within the black sector you've got sectors, right? So you got the women who are talking about all black men ain't shit, right? You've got the black manosphere, you've got the conscious people,
mhm,
right? You've got the this people. So it creates a new fishbowl for you, where everybody in the conscious sector knows Sonetta and this person and
mhm,
that person, right? And what you're trying to do is the same thing you were doing in high school. You're trying to climb to the top of the rank so everyone knows your name too, right?
mhm,
Only it's
mhm,
different now, because unlike in the real world, where you can't hide who you are who you are. Everyone still
mhm,
remembers that embarrassing story from you in third grade where you peed your pants and blah blah blah, and this is really what your breath smells like, and this is really what your hair looks like, and this is really what size your boobs are, and so on and so forth. You can lie about everything. You could make up a whole new personality. This one
mhm,
girl, and I won't name any names, this one girl was both simultaneously 23 and must be a very far under 18. Um, no one really knew for sure, and then had her mother even confirming that she's 23, except for the fact that who knows if that's her mother or not? How would you know? It's just a voice on the other. You could confirm whatever you want. You could prove whatever you want. It's online. right? Like people are gonna have to work really hard to disprove you. And if you're a nobody, no one's bothering to do that. And by the time you skyrocket into somebodyhood, normally people are, they got you up on your pedestal, so you can kind of chill up there unless you start doing things that people are looking at sideways, right? And so that's what happened. It's like I think you're gonna see that in 10 years from now, we're going to have even more people stuck in high school in their heads at 45 because YouTube and the YouTube streets are going to allow them to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Like one day I didn't even
Yeah.
know half this stuff still goes on in grown. I'm telling you, until I
I've
found
never,
the black
I've
sector of
never,
YouTube, I didn't know. I didn't
me
know this stuff
either.
still goes on in grown-ups because birds of a feather flock together. So I didn't
Yeah.
talk to certain kinds of people. I just didn't.
I,
I didn't do it on
it's just something
purpose.
you
I
don't deal with
honestly.
in your day-to-day life.
Right, it's because I make choices. So the people that I find are kind of like me. Those are the people you stay close together with after high school, or new people you meet in your life. You don't bring people into your world who feel radically different from you. So there's a lot of foolishness that are going on in grown ass people that I had no idea happened in real life for real. Like I knew it happened on TV
Mhm.
shows that they called reality TV shows, but I didn't know a lot of this stuff was going on, right? But YouTube is exposing that this stuff is happening in real life. People in
Mm-hmm.
the real world are really really stuck. Like, why do you care? Why do you care if
Mm-hmm.
you have validations from a bunch of random strangers across the globe who don't know you and have nothing to do with your real life, your real world, your real income, your real nothing? Why do you care? I don't understand that, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, these, initially when YouTube first started out, it was all fun and just giving valuable information. That used to be the initial purpose of going to different channels. You initially you didn't see a lot of conflict. You didn't see a lot of black men disrespecting black women. You didn't see a lot of black women disrespecting black men. You didn't see all these gender wars. You didn't see all this feminist movement trying to overdate the masculine movement and vice versa. It was all in
Mhm.
fun, but as always, um, somebody has to take things to a whole nother level. And then when we see all the attention and the praises a person gets when they get out of order or
Mm.
get out of character, and you start to feel like because you're not acting out of character and you're not getting the views and you're not getting the subscribers like you would hope to have, you will follow the trend if you don't have your own mindset. What's up, Zero Kelvin? Good to see you. You will find yourself following the trend. And it's very important that you do not let the fuckery in the YouTube streets get you out of character, because
Mhm.
it is so easy to get caught up in the hype. I go to some of these panels and I see how many I see how black men and black women are going back and forth and disrespecting and degrading one another to the point to where there's grown men that get so upset to the point they have to call another female a bitch, even though she never even cursed him out. She might have got loud, might have got out of pocket, but yeah, he got just that upset because her opinion was different from his, and because he couldn't handle the fact that she would not back down. He
Mhm.
had to call her, resort to calling her names.
Yep.
I've seen some. Oh, you want to reiterate on that, Kels? Have you seen that as
Yeah.
well?
Just calling her bitches, and then may get a little personal, try to hit under the belt, and then stay loud.
Right.
Nobody could hear her retaliate.
Right. A woman, she'll get kicked off in a moment. But for
Yep.
one, this is what women have to realize when it comes to these male dominant channels. First of all, that's their house. That's
It is.
their house.
I
And let
agree.
me tell you, I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm gonna give you how I perceive it. I'm careful with how I approach these men and how I go on their channels, just like I would if it was a bunch of dudes in one house and no female or nobody was there to protect me. I feel like when you go to a dominant male panel, it's basically like you setting yourself up to get gangbanged,
I agree with that.
especially if
That's
you're alone. It's like going to a house, it's like going to an apartment full of dudes and you don't have a girlfriend with you, you have no one there to defend you in case one of these dudes get out of pocket. Because I get it. At times men could be disrespectful and women can be disrespectful. I'm not going to say one is more disrespectful or less disrespectful than the other. But what I'm saying is, I notice when it comes to these dominant male channels, that it's not too many brothers that's going to defend you, even if you didn't mean what you said. It's not going to be one that's going to say, okay, all right, dude, ease up off her. She's still a woman.
But
I
you know what
know, I
though?
know she may.
I gotta just, you see now, and I know I'm talking about my own personal opinion on this, and
Mm-hmm.
there's some channels I don't go to.
Sure.
I mean, real talk. I mean,
Right.
I didn't even know, with the exception of the men haters, I didn't really know there were too many. I mean, there aren't too many female channels out there otherwise. So
Mm-hmm.
most of my time on the black sector of YouTube, besides hair channels, were in the manosphere, because I like listening to actual debates and having like discussions, and logic matters to me. So with that being said, and I mean that's where most of my time on panels has been. And what I find with men is that, if you're not disrespectful to them, and you
Right.
aren't being ignorant towards them, and you don't start trying to throw names at them, for the
Right.
most part they don't talk to you any type of disrespectful way. And I've actually had people, so random third parties, I've actually had them come for me, in certain ways, and say certain things about me, whether I was on the panel or not. And then I've actually seen men speak up, either on the panel or in the chat room, and say, well, I would speak for
Mm-hmm.
I would speak for Classic Ruby. I would defend Classic Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people turn around and say, hey, why did Classic Ruby get timed out? She didn't say anything wrong. Right. So and
Right.
she's not a troll. I've seen these things happen. So I think a lot of times, it goes back to the
Mm-hmm.
original thing that you said, which is this is their house. So you can't walk up
Mm-hmm.
onto a man's channel that he started for the growth and empowerment of men, and then try to get them to now bow down to your will, as far as
Mm-hmm.
how you want the conversation to go, or as far as how you
Right.
want this. And no, you have to be respectful of that man, and the men on the panel, because the channel isn't there for you. Right? They've made, I'm sure they've made it clear what the channel is there for. Now, if it's a unisex made channel, so it's there for both men and women, it's for the black community, that's one thing. But if he says this is a channel by men for men, and then they're going to invite
Mm-hmm.
you onto their panel, well, you know what I mean, how much respect are you having for that? And then if you get frustrated and you start saying, see, this is why I don't like black men, or yeah, see, just like
Mm-hmm.
a black man, you start saying things like that, you don't expect them to get upset. This is the stuff that they're come onto this into these panels and into these groups to talk about. Women do that, they're all grouped into one, and blah blah blah, and punished for someone else's sins, and they're talking about things like
Mm-hmm.
this, and you're going to go in there and you're going to do one of the things that
Mm-hmm.
they hate. You know what I mean?
right.
Or they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
tell you, for example, I was speaking to another lady just privately offline, and I was speaking to her about
Mm-hmm.
the fact of why men hate when women say my truth. That's your truth, or that's my truth. And I was trying to explain to her, what the difference is. And I'm like, even if you don't
Mm-hmm.
agree with it, don't go into a man's panel and then start with the my truth
Absolutely.
thing, because he can't hear it. So don't you want to communicate with them in the most effective way? If you really want to have a discussion or a
Right.
debate and you want them to hear you, then you have to learn how to speak to men, not speak at men,
Right.
not try to control or dominate men, but speak to them. Debate with them, right? You have to learn what respecting a man is, because when you're having certain types of discourse with women, you can go on certain ways. It's woman to woman. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're talking about men, and especially publicly, and you're going to have a debate with them, there's a way you need to go on still, because they're still a man, right? And so there's still
Absolutely.
a certain level of respect that should be due. I mean, we really should see that about people in general, but if not, if you can't do with all people, at least
Mm-hmm.
for men, you need to realize that there's a certain level of respect that even if they're not showing each other, that you must show. So and I think that sometimes women get that lost in the mix. I'm not saying for every channel. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, there's some channels I don't go to, because if I
Mm-hmm.
find over 25% of what you say reprehensible, I don't go over there. Period. But that being said, now for the rest of the male channels, what I find when women start getting slapped down verbally, it's because of that. It's because I heard what they said and I felt it was disrespectful. I'm like, whoa, you didn't have to say that. Or the first time I believed that there was something really wrong between respect between women and men, is this woman was up there and she was trying to prove her point that just based on emotion and whatever, and I thought her point
Right.
was wrong anyway. And then she turned around and she said, ain't nobody submitting to no black man. It's out of the blue,
Oh Lord,
right?
those
Yo,
was
I'll
dangerous
never forget
words,
that
girl.
chick, right? But I'm like, you see, that's the mentality that chick had. And so what happened is the men were hearing that behind that carefully constructed mask that fooled me, underneath it, that was the belief and the attitude that was within that woman. And they're very careful, they're watching for that, right? They're looking for that because they're used to it, and they're used to the women showing up on their panel. Those women aren't there to really have real discussions and debates, but with love and respect. They're there to try to prove something or slap down men, or whatever, and they're just waiting for it to come out. And some of them will test you. They're shit testing you. They're trying to push and push and push and push to see if
Right.
the way you're presenting yourself is just a mask, and underneath that mask is actually a nasty ass attitude. And to your
Mhm.
point, Mocha, you said it, when you said act out of character. But see, that's the thing. If that's not inside of your character, you can't act that way. If you really don't
Exactly.
Mhm.
believe ain't nobody submitting to no black man, it'll never occur to you to ever say it. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. You already a lot, especially if you've been a subscriber for a while. You've passed a lot of these channels, and you pretty much know what they're all about. You don't go somewhere where your personality or your attitude is not going to be accepted. Which brings me to my next question, because I hear a lot of black men say that black women, we don't take accountability. And this is my question to both of you. Um, in my opinion, I feel like there's a reason for everything. And I noticed that some of the times when I'm on some of these, well, I've never been on these panels, but when I would go like hang out in a chat room, I hear a lot of men say it all the time, why black women do not take accountability. And it seems like that no matter what reason we give, because there's a reason for everything, it seems like it's coming off as an excuse.
It's
Like we're just trying to find a way to not own. Like basically, there's no excuse. As a black woman, you just straight fucked up. Ain't don't use your childhood. Don't use your this. Don't use your that. So my question to both of you ladies here: do you feel like as black women we struggle with accountability? And the reason why I have to say we, because we all black women, unfortunately, so I got to throw us in the box. Do you think we accept accountability, or we are just always basically looking for an excuse?
yep. I feel some, not all, because me personally, it's my pleasure to take accountability for any of my actions.
Mm-hmm.
But for some,
Mm-hmm.
they do struggle to take accountability, and it starts turning into the blame game. because
And why do you think that? Why? What do you think? What? Why do you think? Maybe that probably was the way I should have asked it. Why do you think we struggle with accountability? Why is it so hard? Because to give you an example, there was one panel I was on, and the gentleman was talking about bastard children.
oh
Okay, and basically, he was saying bastard children are children who have been conceived out of marriage, which is true. It's a strong word, but that's what it is.
yeah,
So, all of the men on the panel agreed that they had bastard children. One guy said, "Yep, I got bastard kids. I wasn't married to none of my kids, mom." Second guy was like, okay, well, my first two baby mothers, my first two kids are bastard children, but my third is not because I was married to the wife. Everybody, all of the guys had no problem admitting they had bastard children. But when it came to the female on that panel, and she basically insinuated and stated that when her and the guy was together and they had the child, that she was under common law, which we know is not real marriage.
no,
Okay, but she tried to insinuate that that really was not the case for her because they was under common law. But like the guy said, he said, I'm not talking about common law. I'm talking about were you married like through papers, were you married, legally married. She kept trying to get around that. And I noticed it was irritating the guys on the panel. And that's when he stated, now, why every black man in here was able to say, I have bastard children. And evidently, you have a hard time doing that. So it made me think that I realized as black women, some of us, we have a hard time with accountability. So that's
mhm.
my question. Why do we have such a hard time
I mean, for
blaming ourselves for certain things? Admitting, yeah.
that's the problem. They don't admit that they weren't married when they had them children, and it hurts their feelings that the man called them bastard children.
Yeah.
I
Like that
mean,
that's what
true.
basically is two things. It's emotion and intention. And Cal just hit
Mm,
on part of it. So it's what is her emotional response? And if the emotional response she has to the words that came out of your mouth feel wrong, then it does she's not looking at the logic. She's not looking at the truth, the objective truth. Not her truth. This is why men don't like when her truth, your truth, my truth stuff comes up because there's a your truth, a his truth, a sure, but there's the objective fact. There's the objective truth, right? What is an objective fact here? But that's not what she's responding to. She's responding to how did that feeling feel, and if I don't like that feeling, then what you said is wrong. An intention.
mm,
So, what was her intention by those actions? Was her intention to end up with a bastard child? Was it her intention for her and the father of her child to not eventually get married, thereby validating this kid's existence in her mind? Was it her intention? And so that's what happens. And so you have those two factors that come together. And this is why there's no accountability, because anything that feels bad, it gives them a negative emotional response, is wrong, and it's not fair, and it can't be therefore true. And anything where it wasn't their intention for this to be the end result, this it wasn't their intention for you to feel this way, for it to end up like this, for them to get caught, whatever the case is, whatever the intention is, if it wasn't their intention, then therefore it must be wrong. Therefore they can't be at fault, because you know what, they can only be at fault for what they intended to happen. That's what I'm hearing.
mm. I wish I had a collection plate because this is we have some church up in here. Y'all
we have
stating the actual
church.
factual.
Church.
Um. Oh yeah. What? Yeah. You want to add something, Kels?
Oh no, I was just saying church.
Oh, that's absolutely church. On that note, Mr. Wake the Hell Up 7, I don't rock with a lot of guys. I don't really, vibe with too many dudes in these YouTube streets. But I could say 7 is one in a few that I can vibe with. I know if I disagree with him, he's not gonna boot me off the channel and take my wrench away from me if I have a different opinion. What's up, Seven? Welcome to the neighborhood.
How you ladies doing tonight?
Hey,
Hi.
good evening.
Good evening to y'all as well. Let me just get straight to the Ayesha Curry situation. Me covering the
Mm-hmm.
NBA back in the day.
Sure.
Now, this is a humiliation for Stephen Curry. He's going through a humiliation. I know y'all don't talk about behind the scenes of secret society and
Mm,
occult stuff like that.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure.
That's why
Well,
his game was off.
enlighten
Because I said something wasn't right. Because game 4, game 3 in Houston, he wasn't himself. So somebody
us.
brought it upon me about Ayesha Curry. I wasn't thinking of it at the time. And then it dawned on me because, I was getting on this other guy earlier today about certain things. So I wasn't thinking of it at the time. Think about it. The Warriors is going for their third straight
Mm,
NBA. She's looking for attention from males. This is why I've been saying for a long time to my guys. When a guy is on the road for a long time, she's looking for it elsewhere.
mm, mm,
That doesn't mean she's going to cheat. That doesn't mean she's going to mess around. She's looking for male energy.
mm.
It doesn't matter if the woman can have a successful man, the insecurity starts coming in. This is why I've been trying to tell the guy, you don't know what you're talking about. Wait the hell up, Seven. Well,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's making a video about it now in these YouTube streets about her insecurities.
So,
She got a big house. She
right,
got the children.
right.
What is it that you insecure about your man not being there? He's working. He's providing
Mm,
services. What more do you want? Jeez.
mm-hmm. So basically, you're insinuating that even if a woman is with a very successful man that's
Mm-hmm.
providing her with the best of everything, she wants for nothing. She has the children, she got the cat, the dog, the white picket fence. That even with all of that, with a man being in a very demanding career, that
Right.
there's going to be some underlying insecurity. She's going to look for some attention elsewhere, which in a sense, I would have to agree with that. Like I said the other day, we was on your panel the other day, and I said, "Too much is given, much is required." You can't, if you want a man with a lot of money, you got to deal with a lot of shit, and it's like that comes with the territory, unfortunately. So I do believe that, and that's natural. When because we hear these stories all the time. Let's be honest, women, I'm sure she probably hangs out with the other basketball wives, and they probably may go do lunch at one of those little fancy restaurants. And you know how women do when they get to talk about groupies, talk about this, talk about that. And of course, it's that uncomfortable conversation about, well, how long your husband been gone? Oh, girl, he's been on the road for like a week or two. And then, girl, yeah, I experienced that, especially them women who had husbands in the game for a long time, and they've already experienced the groupies. They don't went through all of that, and now the guy's older. He's not in the groupies like he used to be. But again, she's like an old school athlete wife. When they program into these new school athlete wives, girl, be careful, because when these men get on the road, there's these groupies, there's this, there's this, that, so they hear these horrible stories. And as a wife, it's very scary to know that no matter how great you're doing, that your husband could slide out there on you. And I'm not saying all men, but there's a lot of temptation and that kind of career. It really, really, really is. And he's going to have to be a very strong minded and mature man, because he's young. He's going into this young. Ain't like he's 40, 50. He probably been with her forever, since high school. So he probably ain't even got a chance to experiment or explore other women. So he got her young. So I mean, there's a slight chance he can slip out there on her. He may never, but it's a chance.
But see, Mocha, just like you said
Hmm.
though, there, where as far as like, well, he may not. That's a personal predisposition, right? Just some men are just not predisposed to cheat. Like the
Hmm.
factors would all have to line up where she really would have to suck at home. You know what I mean? As far as the way she's treating him, no sex, blah
Hmm.
blah blah. They're fighting all the time. Things are already out the door. Blah blah. For him to even notice other women, right? There are some men like that, and likewise, I think that when people are talking about insecurity, they keep talking about what someone else is doing. I don't care
Hmm.
if that's your man or not. You are a person, and so when we're talking about whether or not you as a person are secure or insecure, that's an internal factor, and that has nothing to do with
Right.
just like it doesn't matter how well she cooks, cleans, and whatever. If he's a multi-billionaire with a bunch of women throwing him at himself, well, some men are only as faithful as their options. That doesn't mean that she's not doing it right. It's
Right.
just some men are just like that. And it doesn't matter how much attention he's giving her and so on and so forth as a woman. You know what I mean? Since we are programmed to value how good we look in this world, and that gives us part of our value overall in life, no matter what other factors we have. We can feel secure or insecure about our looks regardless of the male gaze. It's just at the end of the day, male attention is a good gauge oftentimes of if you're up there or not. Men noticing what you look like when you try to put yourself together today or whatever is a good gauge that, yeah, you still got it, because when you were in high school, that's how you knew. You know what I mean? Or the
Hmm.
women who aren't looking so hot and they ain't looking so fresh and they're kind of already looking old and used up and whatever, they're not gonna get the attention that the woman who's looking fresh and young and nubile is gonna get. And so it's a gauge
Hmm.
of a lot of things. It's a gauge of not just how beautiful you are and how good your body looks. It's also a gauge of how young you look, right? Because the older you get,
Hmm.
no matter how beautiful you are, the older you get, the less attention you're going to get. We know that.
Hmm.
So, I think we have to start looking at factors besides just, yeah, but look, he makes money and he's this and he's that. Yeah, but she's a woman, right? You want to feel
Right. Of
beautiful,
course.
and of course, your husband thinks you're beautiful and this and that. So, and this is what I said earlier. If she was really looking for male attention, we can all see her. She would get it. So, you know what I mean? If she was putting out the vibes out there that said, someone talk to me, trust me, lots of men would. The fact that she thinks that no men are noticing her when she's walking by and no men are approaching her means she's not putting out the yo, come check for me vibes. And she's not looking around to see if men are really checking for her like that. Because if she was, I'm sure lots are all the time. So,
That very, very good point, Classic. Hi, Cool Jet. You made it in the building.
I sure did. How you doing, Lady Mocha? What's up, everybody?
Hi.
How you
hey,
doing?
hey.
Ed?
What's going on, boy?
I'm actually glad I got two men on this panel because I'm gonna ask y'all something, which is why I'm glad y'all are here. Y'all are men, of course. Y'all be around your homeboys. Y'all done heard all the what really goes on behind the scenes, what these married men really do. Y'all hear how these guys talk about, yeah, man, I met this shorty the other night, I'm saying, baby was stacked like pancakes. You got what I'm saying? I mean, I Hoppy had nothing on her, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? So, this is my question because I know y'all are men. So I'm gonna start with Seven, and then I want you to answer it, Cool J. Seven, what is the odds? And we're just guessing. We're assuming. We have no facts. Allegedly, we don't know the Currys personally. I don't think anybody does on this panel. But so Seven, my question is this: what's the odds of Curry with all this success and handsomeness? And even though he has this beautiful wife and the children, what's the odds of him being in this profession and staying faithful and not even touching a woman as a young man coming into this type of profession? What's your opinion? Because we don't have facts, but this is just an opinion, a free fall question.
He typed in the chat for you to unmute him.
Oh, did I mute him? Did I?
I don't
Let
know.
me see. No, I didn't mute him. I didn't mute him on my end. I didn't. It's saying I muted him. Let me
He has
see.
to unmute himself. Even if you muted him, he still has to unmute himself.
Yeah, because
So
I didn't mute anyone. Try
just
to
click on the
unmute yourself,
microphone.
Seven. Let's see. I didn't mute you.
No, but even if you
Yeah,
did, you can't fix it. So, Seven, all you got to do is click on the microphone and it will unmute you. You must have hit it by accident.
yeah. Let me see. Click on your. Oh, these stupid pop-ups.
He said he have to
Okay.
reset. He have to reset. He mute himself.
He muted himself. Okay.
Yeah, so just click
Okay.
on the microphone. I do it all the time.
I guess.
Okay, never
I
mind.
guess he's gonna drop off and come back up.
Yeah, that's what he
Yeah,
did.
he may. Yeah, okay. He may have to do that. So cool, Jen. Answer you can answer that question until Seven gets back in. What's the odds of him being faithful for the rest of his life with just this one woman with all this money and popularity and notoriety?
The odds. What is the odds? As far as him,
Never
just what do you
touching
mean?
a woman, never ever cheating on his wife ever.
Ooh, I don't even know how to answer that one. I don't
Well,
even know how
the
to answer that one. But it's a lot of temptation. I would say that being at the
right.
peak of your career, as a man, as an athlete, and you're married and stuff. I think that's where trust comes in. That she may feel like, well, he's getting all these attentions from all these other women, and she, like you all seen, she just kind of feel like it's just like, I don't know, I don't say like good enough, but it's another term for that. Um,
She doesn't feel like worthy enough,
kind of like not worthy enough for him, because or because her age, I think she's like 30 now, I believe, and
Mhm.
she, I believe,
Yeah, she's
yeah, she's
30.
30. Yeah, she's 30. So
That's still. Well, I guess they
That,
consider it old, but that's still young.
yeah, that
yeah,
that
that's
that
still
that
young.
right. That's my concern. See, this is why it's my concern because they're so young. This ain't 40, 50-year-old couple who done been everywhere, did everything. It's so much of the world he hasn't seen yet. So Seven, did you get to hear that question that I asked Coolgent, or am I going to repeat it?
You're gonna have to repeat it.
Okay, this was my question. I'm glad I had two guys on my panel tonight because me, Ruby, and Kels, we was talking about Steph. And my question was him being a young man, he's doing really well. He has a lot going for himself. What is the odds of him being faithful for the rest of his life throughout his whole career to Miss Curry?
70% and 30% not.
And what's the 30% not? Because see, my thing is, this is my opinion. Because as women, we want to believe that the majority of men are not cheaters. A lot of us, we want to believe that most men have become smarter and wiser, and they're not allowing themselves to get caught up in these situations. But a man of his status is so, as Ruby said it earlier, a man is only as faithful as his options. So what's that 30% that he may not be? And we're just assuming, we're not wishing bad on their marriage. We're just assuming, just hypothetically speaking.
I would say based on this situation, he's bothered by her not supporting him like she used to. The support is not partly there, possibly, allegedly. It's not there because she's bringing distractions at a time that he's in the playoffs. If she really had an issue of whatever it may be, she should not have put it in the spotlight. That's not a good thing. That's a disrespect. She disrespect him.
Yep.
Now, like I said, I believe it's a humiliation when it comes to Hollywood. Now we look at it on the regular terms. She disrespect him. because
Mm.
if she had an issue with him, she should not went to the public about it.
That's right.
Well, I kind of agree because even though it was a simple comment, probably ain't meant nothing bad. But
Well, did
I'm
y'all
gonna let
watch
you
the
know one
thing
thing:
though?
Facebook having field day with it. Go
But
ahead, Ruby.
I'm just wondering if anyone actually watched it because she wasn't the only person to talk
No,
about
she
this,
wasn't.
right? Jada
She wasn't.
Pinkett talked about it too,
Jada
right?
Pinkett
She
has
even
nothing to
said,
say. Jada Pinkett has nothing to say because she don't mess up the children, her and
They've
Will.
always
What
been
the hell
open
she
with their
talking about?
marriage. They
but
swingers and everything.
but that being said, though, regardless of all of that, like she talked about the fact that her daughter had her back. She talked about the fact that there's a couple times where she remembers actively, but in his heyday, with her being hostile when certain people crossed lines and were disrespectful. So in this case now, right, we could look at it from two different things. She wasn't on some entertainment interview where she's dishing all, right? She's sharing with other wives, all of whom have famous celebrity husbands, and let's all talk about how we dealt with that collectively. How did we all feel about it?
It's
And so
dangerous
it was
though.
more.
It's
Pardon?
dangerous because that's dangerous because let me say this, and this is where the women don't be honest. They want Stephen Curry. Let me tell y'all something right now. When you have somebody that's hot in status of his caliber, don't tell me that Pinky don't want to slip up in there and all those culture vulture females. One thing
You
I
know what?
learned about ladies, I could be with, let's say hypothetically I was with poetic skills. I mean poetic Kells, excuse me. And me and poetic Kells do a YouTube live stream. Do you know how many women, whether they marry or not, will try to get at me on the low because I'm with her, hypothetically?
Absolutely, because women and men think differently. And so when women, for some reason, see men who are married, they think, oh, see, look, he's marriage potential. But now, with that
Hmm.
being said, and I'm going to say this because this is an important thing to note, I'm actually very open and honest online. I share pretty readily, and you know what? I'll share experiences, I share feelings, I share insecurities, I share things I've gone through, and I don't do that for all the hating ass bitches. And I don't do that,
Hmm.
because, oh, I don't think people might gossip about me or think certain ways. What I'm doing is, there are other women out there who, they're in their mid 30s now, or maybe they're even younger. And not a lot of people, not a lot of women these days are willing to just sit there and be honest and be open.
Right.
And so they're just sitting there presenting their lives like everything's perfect and they don't have a care in the world and whatever. And so a whole bunch of millions of normal women who will never have the opportunity to be heard are sitting there thinking to themselves, wow, I must be failing for me to think this way or for me to feel this way or whatever. So, you know what? When someone like me stands up here now and I tell you the honest to God truth about what I've experienced or what I'm experiencing now or what I think or feel, what happens is a bunch of good women who are sitting there listening silently get to go, oh, maybe I'm not so crazy. And oh shit, she found a way to deal with that. Well, what did she do? Right? Because Jada brought up, you got to find that internal confidence though to not let certain women shake you like that. Because you got to. So it ended up being a complete conversation. So we could take it out of context, right? Or we can look at it from the fact that look at the whole conversation in context. Look exactly like how she meant it. She was being honest, and she said it like she said, "I don't like having to introduce myself. I don't. I feel like I'm with my man. I'm not sitting there saying, well, he's a multi-billionaire. No, I'm with my man. I'm with my husband. I would like if when a group of people come up to talk to him, that he ushers me into the conversation too by saying, oh, and this is my wife, so and so. So that way now we're all part of the conversation. And I find that very relatable because I feel the same way, and it's something I said for 10 years with my husband. He forgets to introduce people around him. He
Hmm.
just starts car, and I have to be like, hi, I'm Ruby. And or people in the conversation have to turn around and be like, and you are, right? Because he just doesn't remember. And it's something that kind of gets under my skin too. So me hearing her say that, I go, see, I'm not alone. That is an annoying thing. All right. It happens. Oh, it's not just my husband. Oh, okay. Maybe it's just a man thing. And it reassures me now, right? So we got to look at it from a bunch of different factors. This wasn't on, entertainment television, on Ratchet TV. I think this was on a good place for this kind of conversation to happen with other women too. I don't know. Just my two
Hmm.
cents.
Can I say something?
Sure.
When you all say that she's like the Claire Huxtable of the millennials,
In the sense,
Uh,
it's
some,
kind of,
yeah.
cause I
some
don't know too
I
much about her. Like all I
uh,
know is that she's like, the wife of, Steph Curry. So I don't know too much a lot about the history. I mean, I've seen the clip and stuff. So, people pass it on. I just have to give my point on it.
somewhat. I mean, compared to, um, what the majority of a lot of these other women are doing. She has good receipts. She has her own cookware lineup.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
has a brand. She's a wife, which is a job within itself, and a mom, that's another job within itself. So I would say she's pretty much at that ballpark. But the reality is, when you're with a man of that status, you have to be prepared that it can very well, even with you being a good wife, even with you being a good mother, he's in that type of profession. That's a lot of temptation. And he's a young, handsome man. And sister, I don't know if y'all heard of her, sister Sahar. I can't pronounce her name for the life of me.
Shahrazad Ali.
Yes,
I knew that's what you
Oh
thank
said.
you.
yeah,
Thank you. Because I do not want to disrespect her name because I love her content.
yeah.
And
She
she
she's
said
real.
something, she's gonna keep it real, and I love that about her. And I was listening to one of her messages, and she said, I don't know no man on this planet that's gonna be faithful the whole 76 years of his life. She said, there's
Mm.
not one. She said, and this is what she said to back it up. She said, and it's not because it says something is wrong with his companion. This is not to say that there's something wrong with his marriage or his wife. Is not That has nothing to do with it. She said the issue is a man's nature is different from ours. So even if he did were to slip, the thing about it is that would not say nothing about her value as a woman or a wife. That's just him allowing his immaturity or his what's the word, because men talk about it all the time. Basically he's still fish he he's still fishing, he's still going to experiment. My thing is, he's a young man. He's been with her since high school. The odds of him never even never slipping, that's going to be very slim. And it's not to say he's going to do it all the time, but it's a lot of temptation out there, because of what he is and what he represents.
It
But you know what
is.
though? I don't think they were together since high school. If I remember right, they knew each other
Mm-hmm.
from high school, but it wasn't until later in life that they actually started dating, right? So, like
Mm-hmm.
they had their lives, they had their opportunity to date other people, make mistakes, sow your wild oats, so on and so forth, before settling in with each other. But that's not to say, again, like I said, some men are going to cheat no matter what it is that they've done in life before or not, right? Some people are predisposed naturally. They have higher sex
Mm-hmm.
drives. They have a lower loyalty quotient when it comes to, sex and sexuality and things like that. They attach less of an emotional connection to it. And so therefore, it's not as important to them. And some women are the same. Like I said earlier, for me personally, as far as fidelity is not super high on my list. Honesty is though. So I would have no problem being with the man who came home and told me he cheated every day, versus
Right.
a man who only cheated on me once but lied to me about it and I had to go find out myself, right? Because
Mm.
honesty is
Good
very
point.
important. And I think a man who is sitting there and lying, that's probably he was drunk or high, and then, some chick who sidled up to him and then he went and made some irresponsible decisions and he hates himself about it. Listen, that means maybe you didn't wrap up. or maybe you wrapped up too late, or maybe I don't know what naked part of her touched me, but I touched you, but I know that there's a higher chance of you bringing home a disease to me, of her ending up pregnant, and blah 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 blah, if you were getting yourself all drunk and messed up and whatever, and accidentally falling into the lap of someone, versus, listen, you just are who you are. You are who you are. You know, when pretty pussy walks up to you, you like to slide up in it. And at the end of the day, the way that you show you're valuing me isn't from sexual fidelity, it's from other aspects and characteristics, right? And
Right.
to me, if you're honest, then we determine that in advance, right? If you're really honest, then and you're really a man, to me, you'll be honest and upfront with whatever woman. You're not going to sit there and say, "Oh, baby, let's be monogamous with each other. You're the only one for
Mhm.
me," and then go be banging everything out there and lying, coming home and lying to her about it, right? I don't have any
Mhm.
respect for that. Like, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna
that's why I
say
said
this.
Ayesha, if he's a good man, Ayesha already knows exactly what kind of man he is because he already let her know and he was honest about it. And she decided,
Right.
all right, I'm good with that. Sorry, go ahead.
Mhm.
The bigger a man's wallet is, the bigger his options, pretty much.
Of
Say that
course.
again. Say that again.
The
Say
bigger
that
a
again.
man's wallet, I'm saying it again. The bigger a man's wallet, the bigger his options are, and that is facts.
Of
So he
course.
has
I
any
agree.
option,
That's facts.
a woman he wants.
But that doesn't explain one simple factor, the pookies. And so
I
I'm going
hate
to
that
say
term.
this, but you know
I
what
hate
though?
that
But
term.
it is what it is. But it is what it is because everyone knows what I mean. The Ray Rays are the hustlers, and they're on their grind. The Pookies are somehow just getting
Yeah.
life handed to them, but they're just professional nothing. And so
Hmm.
now, so yes, that's true. So if you are not that great looking of a guy, or you're like average, and then your wallet gets bigger and bigger, your options are going to increase proportionally, of course. But if you are already genetically blessed, your options started sky high and they remain sky high no matter what's in your wallet. Because at the end of the day, women, or well, I mean, people are programmed to like genetically perfect, the closer the better, genetically attractive people. Why? Because you want to mix your genes with the best genes out there to
That's
have the
true.
most
Yep.
genetically beautiful children, right? So, and that's what it's messed up. Men aren't gonna like it, but I'll let you know. So women who have very high options, right? If it was back in nature, but even today you see it a lot. So they're going to have a man who loves them and will take care of them and so on and so forth, right? And but if he's not that good looking, you might see that one, maybe two of her children aren't really his. Because at the end of the day, if her options are that great and a 10 comes walking by, she's going to let that slide up in her because you know what? That's going to make those offspring genetically better, which therefore makes those children that much more likely to be successful themselves. It's something that
Mhm.
genetically we are programmed to do. So are we going to override that genetic programming, that biological programming, or not? Not everyone really wants to. Not everyone really tries to, but you can.
So
Mm.
And
you both y'all brought up some pretty good factors that will there's different factors that are in play that will give a man more options. As Kujin says, money, number one. Number two, as Ruby was stating, if he has the looks, he can produce some pretty babies. You
Hey,
know, it's different factors
That's
can I
true.
say something?
that will help him to become more of a prime candidate. Or he could be a dusty, but if his dick game is phenomenal, it's going to be a low common denominator broad that's going to go for that. You know,
Yeah.
so there's definitely different factors. He gonna have to put it down in one of those areas there. So the whole thing about it is you just cannot. What I want women to understand, and the purpose of me doing the content is that you cannot underestimate anyone. Never think your marriage is so goddamn great that it can't happen to you. That your man would never step out on you. Your woman would never step out on you. Never think that you got it on lock and it could never happen to you because even women who thought their marriage was going so well was devastated when they found out their perfect husbands was messing with a Shrek-looking chick next door. And in the back of her mind, she's like, what did she have on
Oh
me? Come
man,
on now. Every brother up in here has messed with a Shrek looking chick. Don't sit
that's
up here and
true.
tell me because
That's
when the
true.
lights is off, nothing matters when the goddamn lights is off, everybody black.
I want to
So
say
as I
something.
was saying,
I want to say something
everybody
to
has
that.
messed with a Shrek looking chick because she was easy to get at that time. A good
Oh
looking chick,
man,
ain't nobody got time to pop no bottles. Sometimes you just want to get it in quick. You ain't got time for all this extra stuff because if you're on a mission, if you're out on the prowl, meaning as a grown ass man, you just want to get yourself off. You ain't got time to buy this chick too many Amaretta sours to get in her panties. You ain't got a whole lot of time because you're on a mission right now. You don't have time to do all that extra stuff. Okay. So if you get this Wolverine, this rhinoceros, or this Shrek, now this don't mean that this don't mean you want to be with her or you find her attractive. It got nothing to do with that. Right now, you on a mission. And you got to take what you can get. It's kind of like when you go, like when you go to a buffet, all the fresh food gone, and the buffet getting ready to shut down. So whatever little bit of leftover food is left, you got to get the scraps or whatever, because the buffet is close to closing. They're not going to bring out any more fresh chicken or nothing like that. So you got to get the last two little pieces that's left. It may be stale as hell. That piece of chicken may have been sitting up under that light for about an hour, but guess what? If you're hungry, you're gonna take that last little piece of two of chicken. So basically, when a man has a mission and he just wants to get laid, he don't care how pretty his wife is at home. If the Shrek chick is what's available and convenient at that time, that's what he's gonna go for. Now
it's
he's
true.
not gonna claim her. He ain't gonna claim her now. He's gonna make sure wherever he takes her at, those lights are gonna be extra, extra dark. Because he's not gonna want to remember her face when he see her in the street. He ain't gonna want to remember, oh, I was messing with that chick the other night. So I just think that sometimes we got to be realistic because I've heard women who would brag, my husband never do that. My marriage is so wonderful and so great. Oh, I'm everything my husband needs. I do this, I do that, I do everything at home. He ain't got no reason to stray.
But
Sometimes
you
it
know what
ain't
though,
about
Mocha?
you.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Even
Uh,
even if I'm sorry, even if the man, start off ugly though, but as he ages, like he gets better in life. Like that's facts, and I've actually seen that with my own two eyes. So it's
he
like
gets
the
what in
more
life?
older, no, when he gets older, I mean, he may start looking ugly and stuff, to women around his age group, but as he gets older, then he starts to become more appealing and stuff. He has himself established. So then he has women flock to him, and that's truth to that.
But now here's my question, because I brought this up earlier, and now we got some gentlemen on the panel who can respond.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is my thing, right? Because women saying that they are anything their man could dream of and more is not the same thing as the man thinking that she's everything he could dream of and more. So
Good
my
question.
my question is this now. So let's say a man literally got his dream come true. Like on his scale, for him personally, in looks, she's like a 50 out of 10. Like he can't even believe she really exists in real life. On top of that, when you look at her non-sexual characteristics, all of them, they're on fire. Like he can't, like he thinks she must have been manufactured in a lab. Um, Everything is beyond
That
immaculate.
exclusiveness, huh?
Mm.
That would be my question, right? I'm not talking about her perspective. I'm talking about his perspective. Now, from his perspective, if he literally had, there's not one thing on this woman that literally he couldn't have manufactured in a lab himself. Both her personality, her looks, anything, her submission, everything is that far on point. Do you think that would change? Obviously, he has to be older because when we're talking about young men, this is a different story. So when he's a little bit more mature and he's, gotten some of that testosterone out of his system from puberty, do you think that that would change his likelihood to stray?
No,
Nah.
no,
Okay.
absolutely not. Not in this day of time. Not in this day of time. That's like finding a ruby. Now you call yourself ruby. I'm talking about the ruby itself. A
Hmm.
ruby is rare to find. It could be possible. That's a small percentage. Not in this
It
day of
is
time.
super rare.
I mean,
Hmm.
you could get a glimpse of it, and then you have to put her to the test because I don't go by what a woman say. I go by actions. You can tell me many things that's true.
I'm all about that too.
When I see you face to face and I put you through a test and you can't pass it, then you're not ready for the real situation. A lot of guys don't test their own
Okay.
female. She look good, Rollo. I'm not testing her. Forget what Rollo say. I'm going inside her today.
It's like there's always a catch to her. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything can be so good and just so well, but it's like it's always a catch to it.
Think something is
It's a
wrong.
trap. It's a
Yeah,
trap.
it's like trap. It's like a trap, man. It's like I said, come. I
Right.
said, man, come on now. This is like too good to be true. And all this mess that we're
Yeah,
living in
yeah.
today, man. All this garbage and stuff, and you mean to tell me that it's a piece of ruby here? Are you kidding me?
Right.
I said, no,
Right.
I got to test this, see if this
But
works.
too,
Yeah,
I got to test it.
exactly. Yeah.
So, but your way of testing it would be to cheat on her and then see if she
No,
leaves you?
no, no,
No, no,
no,
no,
no.
no,
Oh, no.
no,
No,
Okay.
no,
no.
no,
I know that test
No,
question
I'm
no,
is
sorry. I'm
coming.
uh-uh.
confused.
No, no, no,
No,
Sorry.
no.
no cheating.
You
Nah.
see, you see what it's Goku Gen 87 why I be telling you?
Yeah,
No,
man.
no,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I see it.
confused
They
because you just
assume.
said,
They assume.
well, no, it's just because of the way that the conversation just went. Whereas in
Nah,
I
you
was
don't
asking
see
if
you
it would
speaking of your
change your,
emotions, Mrs.
I was just
Ruby.
asking if it would change your likelihood to cheat, and then you said no, and then you said that you would have to test her. So then I guess because of that flow, then I guess what would the
Right.
testing be? Like what is, I guess why does,
We don't
if you
give out. We
tested her,
don't
then if
just
she
like a woman
passed,
don't give out. Just like a woman don't give out her two S test questions. We don't give out information. You have to see through our actions. And if you're a woman of substance, you would know if you're being tested
It's
or not.
like
If not, that's
it's
on you.
like it's like a car. You know what I'm saying, man? You know, it's a car I've looked for my whole life. Like so, like a rare. I can't think of a car way back in the day. I always wanted it. Nice, all this stuff. Engine looks well. Okay, now let's see how it cranks up. If it don't crank up like the way we want to and perform how it drives, then it's no good. You know, I don't care how good it
mm,
looks on the outer appearance. I don't care.
right?
Now, this is my question. Why are men messing with these Shrek looking chicks behind closed
that's
No,
right.
doors
no,
and
I
then
can't.
up
I can't.
front?
I can't.
No, there's
I
no,
had that. I did that one time. Let me say this. I'm gonna put you to a test, Lady Mocha, and poetic skills and Ruby.
I want to
Let
know
me.
about the
Let,
Shrek looking chicks. Like, why
but one
behind? Why
time,
y'all? Yeah.
I did that one time, and the girl looked at me. You know what she told me? She said, "You better get something better." And the next time she messed around, I got something better. She got pissed off. Guys, let me tell you this test question. When a woman tells you that, she don't want you to get better. That's what it means. So let's
That's
say, hypothetically, she said, "I'm done with you." She gonna come and peep within a month or two, see what you're doing. You pick up the phone, some chick looking better than her. You gonna have a war. It's gonna be war.
Oh yeah, you're right about
yep.
that.
Man, you know what to
Because
say,
she
bro.
don't care. You get a Shrek. She'll laugh.
And
She'll
she
tell her
and she
girlfriend, "Yeah,
wait, she
girl."
left in the threat.
think you'll come
Yeah.
back.
You gonna have somebody. You gonna have her and her girlfriend's knocking on your door.
Yep.
So is the question,
Hmm.
what would you do? Like, what would I do as a woman? Like, if
Yeah,
that, because
if
if
you
I,
leave if you was to say you done with your husband, and your husband
yeah,
finds some fine Jamaican chocolate woman down there in Jamaica. I mean,
mm,
25 with a body, and she fully developed, and you see him with her. I know you're gonna lose your mind. I know. 'Cause I was dealing with a Jamaican
okay.
woman.
So
I know
in
for a
real
fact.
life though, actually no, because see, I'm what I would like to term terminally monogamous. I am the type of person, I don't know when to call it quits. I don't know when to stop. I don't know. I am so committed. So if I told you I was done with you, first of all, it didn't come out of the blue, didn't come out of anger, didn't come out of some freak out. And so what would happen then is if I told you I was done with you, I really have to mean it. Like there is not, if there's the smallest inkling in my head that I'm not quite done, then I won't say it. I would have to 100% mean it. And if I meant it, then that means for me, I'm now actually okay, depending on what you want, with either being your friend or being your nothing. And so if I'm at that place, I actually hope you find something good. I hope you find something better than me for you.
But
So
but
if
That's the thing too.
so,
But most women get jealous though.
but see, it's different aspects to that. As I was listening to Ruby, I think the problem is if she, because some women like to play mind games. Okay, they will
yes,
tell a man, you can get your stuff and leave. I don't want you here because out of her emotions, she's mad with him. So she'll give him the green light. I've seen women who've done this. They'll get
yep,
mad with their old man, get into an argument or whatever, and say, "Get the f out. I don't want to see you. I'm done." And as soon as this dude goes and picks up the next chick, especially if this chick is drop dead gorgeous, this bitch is catching the Holy Ghost. She loses, she
yep,
about to have a stroke because she like you, she didn't really mean it. Now see,
nope,
Ruby, in your case, you was through, you ain't played no games, you wasn't trying to prove a point. I wish you
right,
the best. I realize it's not gonna work. So your situation is different. But these ones who like to play mind games, I've seen women who do it. I've seen women who get mad at their old man, at their husband, boyfriend, whatever. And
hmm,
because he's not giving in and doing what she wants, she'll call his bluff and get
hmm,
mad when he takes it.
yep,
And when
because
you
she
tell
was.
him, I
I was just saying because she's expecting I'm gonna kick you out and you're gonna sit there
yeah,
and you're gonna
go
cry
ahead.
over
Who's
me.
next? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
can you hear
somebody
me?
want to say something?
Yeah, we
Hello?
hear you.
That's
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear
I
you.
was
Go
saying, I'm
ahead.
like, because she's expecting she's gonna kick you out and you're gonna cry and you're gonna pine and you're gonna do right and then you're gonna come back
Right.
and beg for her, right? That chick that's playing that game.
Yep.
Yup, yup, yup. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm like, yes, you're so right. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, I've seen that happen all the time. And I tell women, don't call a man's bluff unless you mean it. Don't
It's
get
ba-
mad. Don't
Mm-hmm,
get angry. Don't tell him you get the F out. I'm done. Won't you get some from somebody else? I'm sick of you wanting
mm-hmm,
to jump on me every night. You want to
mm-hmm,
wrestle with me every night. I'm tired. Go find somebody else to jump on any night. When
but
mm-hmm,
you
baby,
sit up there and tell a man something like that, you think he ain't gonna act on it, and then you wanna blow up and lose your mind. You run into him in the street with this broad. But I seen a woman who did. I see the woman. I know this. Matter of fact, I will tell you a quick story. I know a woman who did that. She got upset with an old man, right? They fell out, whatever. It got so bad to where the police had to come over there and get all his stuff, out the because she told him to get the F phone. So he had to, the police was there watching him get his stuff and escorting him off the premises. So he took his little duffel bag and he went out there and got a chick that was top notch. Okay. So what he did was he's all over the place parading this new chick. He's all on Facebook. They going out of town. They doing things together. She boiling like a lobster in a tank. Because what happens is sometimes women, when we get angry with the man, we hoping he fails. The last thing we want to do is let him go and see him get better. We let him go to see him get worse. You don't let them go to see them improve and grow. And that's what happened. He got out there and he started dating somebody younger. He was taking this girl places. He was parading her. And because she's not that attractive of a female, she could not handle it. So slowly but surely, she went on stalker mode. She went stalking him. What now? You put him out now. How you just gonna give up on us that easy? How you just gonna throw in the towel?
I
Just
say,
cause I was mad with you, that didn't mean go out there and get somebody else and you
Mm-hmm.
bringing it, you parading this chick all over the place. I knew you was gonna do it like that and all this other
Mm.
stuff, and she lost it. So, but she took it to a further notch because she even went so far as to trying to divorce him, and he brought the female to court. And I guess she saw that he was getting real serious with the chick, so she realized, okay, let me pull back and humble myself. So I don't know what she did, but she put on a sob story or whatever she did to convince him to come back. And he came back. But I tell you one thing, she never played those games again with him.
you know what it's
Mm-hmm.
like with most some of the women. They saying, "Oh, but enough of them." It's like a child that's playing with his favorite toy and then gets tired of it and throw it down. When somebody else come and try to pick it up, then that person who had the toy first come back and try to fight over it. That's like the mindset of a lot of women today.
Oh yeah, I think that
Yes,
that's absolutely
I
true. I
agree.
think you could add to that too and realize that a lot of women think that they are supposed to be the boss and they're supposed to be in control. And when trying to boss around their man doesn't work, instead of let me give. And then give and take, or hey, listen, obviously, if I'm unhappy, maybe he's unhappy too. Let's try to work things out. What they're trying to do is try to boss and trying to manipulate and trying to game everything to get their own way. They want to get their way without having to give. They
And
have to make you appreciate them without having to appreciate you.
yeah, truth be told, me a lot of women don't want to see their man doing better than them, and it's like it's
Right.
competition. That's why I said men and women are not equal, though. Men are the ones supposed to provide, and the women, supposed to be the inspiration, to the man. So it's just like everything's out of place.
I agree. And a lot of this it boils down to immaturity.
That's all.
You know,
Sure. Yep.
don't play games if you're not. I don't care how upset I would get with my husband. We'll fall out, we'll argue like most couples do. But I would never get to that point where I tell him to get the hell out, take your stuff and go. I'm not about to give you the green light, to because I'm upset with you for you to go out there and because we're on a break or whatever, because that's what happened with Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade. They had a
Yeah.
separation, and during that time, because everybody don't take separation to reflect on what they did wrong. They take that to go do some other stuff instead. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
that's what happened, and that's how he ended up having that child with the other chick or whatever. But him and Gabrielle, they got past it. They're still doing well and stuff like that. So yeah, we have to be careful.
Mhm. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I know that this is, I mean, there's a lot of problems that differ between America and Canada, but I know this is a pervasive female problem because what I've noticed is like I mean exactly what I say at all times. I'm an incredibly honest, open person, and I actually really expect honesty, and I don't play stupid games. So
Same here.
whatever I said, I meant, right? And what
I
I noticed though is too many men find out the hard way that I don't play stupid games. So I meant exactly what I said, and
know
you
what it
thought,
is.
"Oh, you're in a game now."
They
What's
think
that?
they think you're conditioned like the so-called, women that you see of today in this modern times.
Mhm.
She's just like another person, so they think they can manipulate you and stuff. And when you kind of stand out, standing out is a good thing.
Yeah, because they think that I just said that thing to play some stupid game or in some power struggle or whatever kind of foolishness. But again, like I said, I'm not going to say something unless I really mean it. And trust me, I have to get somewhere far. It can't happen because I got angry once, because you hurt my feelings or whatever. For me to say something like,
Right.
listen, this has got to change or I'm out. I really, really mean that. And so, and I'll continue commenting on it and whatever. This thing has got to change or I'm out. I can't do this. So whatever. And they think, oh, I'm manipulating, I'm game playing. Like, no, I just listen, I believe that, there's someone for everybody, right? And not everybody's for
Mhm.
me then. Right? I need to be on the right train. So when we came together, You said you're about this, this, and this, right? Which lines up with my personal philosophies too. So I can jump up on that train and I can support that, right? So now if you start moving in a way that isn't what you originally told me your mission statement in life is, we're going to talk about it. But, if you keep moving in that way, I'm going to tell you, like, unless you start, moving closer to the way you said you wanted to be, because I'm supposed to be here to help support that cause, I can't be on this train, right?
You know
Because it's
something
not
else?
for me.
Mm.
Can I say this? I want to say this too. It's Lady Mocha. Do you think with some of these
Mhm.
so-called relationships, like with the celebrities, like they're unequally yoked with each other?
I that's actually a good question. I believe so. I think what it is, a lot of people. I think what happens a lot in Hollywood, people automatically think money is what makes them compatible. I think that's the reason why a lot of Hollywood couples they suffer, and there's so much. The divorce rates are so high in the Hollywood world because a lot of them think you got bread, I got bread. We belong together. You famous, I'm famous. You popular, I'm popular. So we should be together. If not that, they are picking up, or if they're not doing that, they're picking up people who are nowhere on a level, which is just as bad. It's no different than what Britney Spears did when she picked up a guy who was not in the industry like her. She gave him a full advantage to be able to benefit off of her notoriety. That has happened too, where a famous person will get somebody that's not so famous, and that
Right.
person pretty much takes them for everything they have. And I just think a lot of the times what the people in the industry, their money has them blinded to a lot of things because
That's
I
right.
think when you're in a struggle, you pay attention to stuff that people with money normally wouldn't pay attention to.
And that's
You're
it.
not so much looking at their profession. You're not looking at how much money they got or their accolades. You getting to know that person for who they truly are. And I think in Hollywood, a lot of them are lacking in that area, which is the reason why they end up connecting with the wrong people. I mean, look at Jennifer Lopez. As beautiful and successful as she is, that chick has not been able to keep the same man.
It's
You know,
like
she she's been with, and make it so bad. She's been with men who had money like her. She's been with men who've been background dancers who didn't have money like her. She's been with older men. She's been with younger men. She's been with all type of different dudes, and none of them. She's been with this other guy for a minute here, but none of them she's been able to keep a stable relationship with. No, for different than Holly Berry, as beautiful as she is.
Right.
There's been men who have complained and said she's very clingy and highly insecure. And you would think a woman that beautiful, will have those type of issues. So I believe the probably with the Hollywood, there's a lot of what's the word where there's a lot of camouflage, a lot of fakeness going
Yeah.
on because
right.
you're looking at the star. You're
Doing it for the
going on
image.
yeah, you're going on
Yes.
the image.
Extreme.
You're not going on the person behind that name. It's no different than one Beyonce had once she been with Jay-Z, she got to really meet Sean Carter. There's a whole lot behind that person's name that you're
Just
not ready to deal with. So yeah.
just to add on to like what was it? What was I say? Yeah, yeah, I think it's safe to say that money and happiness are like two different things as well. People think they're one. I said, no, not necessarily. But you can have it all and
Mm-mm.
still be unhappy. That's what they fail to realize. So
Absolutely. It's about chemistry. It's
it
about
is.
both of you vibing spiritually, and the chemistry has to be there. It doesn't matter about the money. If the chemistry is not there, you're gonna get bored with each other. I don't
That
care how many
connection.
trips you go on. I don't care how much coach bags he buys you. And some people don't have a personality. Money don't buy personality. I've dated
Right.
some guys before I got married who was dull as a box of rocks.
Right. Something like you could be beautiful all day, but if we ain't got that particular connection, that vibe with each other to where like on
Exactly.
the intellectual level, talk about different things out of this world, then it's just a no for me. I don't care how good looking you are. I can't vibe with that. There's not gonna no longevity in this, you
Yeah,
know?
You know what
you
though,
can't
Jay?
force a connection. Go ahead,
You
Ruth.
gotta look at the fact though that they have an extra factor that we don't have to consider, which is that everyone knows them and they don't know anybody. And so it is very easy. I mean, we normal people are having problems with gold diggers and people who are up to no good and this and
Mm-hmm.
that
You
and
know what it
whatever,
is?
stalkers, extra fans. Hold, hear me out, hear me out. So
Okay, go ahead.
the problem is with that is that when you are very high profile and billions of people know you and you don't know nobody and whatever, you can't I mean, where do you even meet normal people? You can't just be out there without your security and this and that and everyone recognizing you and all that stuff. So your dating pool becomes very, very small because there's only a small select group of people, which is other stars like you, that you know as much as they know you, and they're not going to benefit socially, financially, whatever, just from standing next to you. In the same way that random nobody down the block who might be perfect for them, but they'll never meet, might be, you know what I mean, would benefit. So I think they function a lot out of fear. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I had something good in my head.
I'm sorry. I
I,
know.
nah,
I know.
it's good call kind of the moment. Like it was just something really good. It was something really good. It came across my mind. Oh yeah, that's what I was
It,
gonna say. Um, it's like normal people try to compare their lives to like the celebrity stuff, and they're not celebrities. That's why you got all this gold diggers and stuff like that. They all women are like this, and it's like you try to compare your life to a celebrity when you're not at all.
Hmm.
We live
and
in a popularity contest.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
right.
agree.
We do, and sometimes that's why it's important that. And this what kills me because I hear men say all the time, "She's a gold digger. She's a gold digger." My thing is, no woman wants a broke man. Period.
Nope.
I don't care if she's white, black, rich, poor. The thing about it is, just get with a woman that's willing to accept your level of struggle.
Yeah.
That's the problem. When you try to deal with a woman that expect way more than you could exceed.
Right.
That is the problem. So yeah, she's a gold digger. If you only working at Popeyes and she wanting you to, buy her a Benz, that's a gold digger. But if
Mhm.
she accepts you on your level of struggle, she know I can't expect a whole lot from him. He could only contribute but so much, and she'll be comfortable with what you can contribute, and vice versa, or whatever. So definitely, it's definitely been y'all. Everybody has definitely made some very, very significant points tonight. With this whole Ayesha Curry thing and these different issues that we've been talking about. And I wish more panels had black women and black women come together like this, where we discuss these type of issues within the black community, because this is something that black people need to be educated. They need to hear more about black love. They need to learn how to respect marriage. They need to know that marriage is not a fairy tale. It is not a game. Marriage is for grown folks, for grown ass men, grown ass women. Marriage is not about the wedding, ladies. It's not about
Hmm.
the wedding, because some of us, we be more concerned about the damn wedding than we are about the damn marriage. You too busy worrying about the dress and the venue and who all gonna come out and celebrate you. And there's so much underlying issues that you have as a woman and things that he has as a man. And if there's nothing else I could recommend to anybody, if you're considering getting married or if you ever get to that point, it's very imperative that y'all have counseling first. I
I
recommend
absolutely
that.
agree with that.
Go,
Everybody who's like before they get married needs to go through counseling. I definitely
yes,
believe that
The
because
they
I
do.
see
wedding,
so
the thing
many
about the
male
wedding,
married.
the
Mm-hmm.
thing about the wedding is for, not to cut you off, Cool J 87.
You gotta
Sure.
go ahead, man. You got to
The
go ahead.
wedding is about the woman. It's not about the man. Because she
It
has to
depends on the
show,
man.
she has to, hold on. She has to show her friends, look, I got something you always been wanting. Some women do that. They put up a show. Because remember, I cover a lot of weddings for my valet service. I see this all the time, majority of the time.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you, and you're right. But I just will add the fact that it depends on the man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Here's the thing, though,
They
right?
always want to,
Because
they want a
hold on,
blue
hear me
pill
out. Hear
guy.
me out.
Go
Hear
ahead.
me out. Hear me out, though. Hold on. Um, and I say that because of this, right? when we're talking about social climbers, keeping up with the Joneses, proving yourself and whatever, both men and women do that, especially in today's society. They just do it from different perspectives. So, for example, what would be important to a man at a wedding is having an open bar to prove, yo, he's got it like that. For example, right? So, you look at different aspects of a wedding and, make sure all of his boys got there and, they got a seat close to the table and just different things are going to matter to both men and women when it comes to a wedding, especially with the millennial generation where they're born and raised in Facebook and social media. Yesterday's man, is very different. His social skills and whatever, and his social importance and relevance, as far as everyone see me, everyone know I did this, everyone know I did that, that didn't used to exist. But in the millennial men and women, millennial boys and girls, everybody is, see me, see what I did, see what I accomplished. Yo, obviously the open bar, yo, da 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 da. Like, now you got both men and women on that. I just wanted to add that in there because
So
things are
you
changing.
gave me a title to do, Ruby. I'm gonna dedicate it to you. Marriage has become a club.
A club.
Mm,
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting. Yeah,
mm.
that's right. To show
And
off stuff like that.
Yeah.
and this is the reason why the divorce rates are so high, because everybody's getting
Right.
married based on image. It has nothing to do with chemistry. It has
Yep.
nothing to
That's
do with
right.
that.
Fact.
How
And,
Fact.
much
and, and
popularity? It's a popularity contest.
it's a
Oh,
That's
I
popularity
it.
got more. I
contest.
got more likes in my videos. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We won. We won,
Yep.
girl.
You know something though,
Yep.
man? Like even before all the social media, like I really miss it. Like before the internet and stuff. I mean, people would really just interact with each other one on one, eye to eye conversations with each other. I really miss
Hmm.
those days. And it's just like
Right.
I believe technology is a gift and a curse, but I'm old school. I'm always
It
gonna be old
is.
school regardless, because all this technology can
Me
crash at
too.
any time, like real talk. And then it's like, what kind of social skills you don't have? What you gonna have then? I mean, if there's no technology, if everything crashes, I mean,
So
what are you gonna
Oh,
have?
Yep.
it's gonna be
Yep.
it
mayhem.
is.
People gonna be looking at each other strange if that happens.
It's like people don't know how to connect like
Yeah,
no more.
That's true.
Yep.
it
It's
is.
it
I'm
makes you feel
glad.
like
I'm
by
glad.
yourself. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
what you
are.
trying to say, Cooper?
Yeah, I said makes you feel like a person by yourself. It's like, man.
Because you are. And the thing is
Mhm.
that, so and I've talked about this. I really should do a video on this because I read a few studies, right? I'm all about the research of, social behavior, human behavior and perception. Anyway, and so they did some research on some of the tactics that they're doing in school. So back in the days, what used to happen is, the same 30 kids were in class with each other from the first grade until at least high school, right? You were just always with the same kids. And so, and there might be three, four, five different classes, that are all in the same grade, but you tend to always kind of be with, might switch up one or two, but mostly they kept you with the same kids. And then what they did was they said, oh, well, social media is allowing people to bully each other more, and it's allowing people to, isolate people more. And so what happens, what we should do? We should switch the classes around. So that way it prevents people from making best friends. Like, you're not even allowed to say the words best friends in kindergartens and grade ones and twos anymore. You're not allowed to say you have a best friend. And, they're breaking social contracts between children very early now. So they're switching it around. So you're not with the same kids every single year from grades 1 to 5. And they're making sure you're not allowed to have best friends. You're not allowed to choose your own group. So that way they can randomize your group every time. And so what they're doing is important social rules that we learn, and we learn to bond with people. We learn to become closer and closer with age. We learn to figure out who we like and who we don't based on lasting traits. And now what they did was they intentionally took that away from everybody to try to solve a problem, which of course didn't solve the problem at all. It made the problem a little bit worse, but on top of that, it made sure that people are now alone, and they're starting to be alone from grade school onwards. So yeah, no, social media,
Mhm.
the internet has made people lonelier than ever, even though it made people more accessible than ever.
right? Basically, and
Hmm.
people, people are afraid to talk to each other in real life, now
Exactly.
more than ever, because basically through like behind social media and stuff, it's basically like your inner self. You express yourself innerly, like with the keys and stuff like that on your keypad or wherever you're using, like as if you want somebody to hear you.
Hmm. I've been, I've been saying this a couple of times that social media has killed the fun of dating.
Yeah,
Um, but men used to have back. I'm glad I was not part of social media during my dating season. We had to go out on dates. We had to meet somewhere to
Right.
get to know each other. Um, there was no, I can go on his page and see what he's into, see what kind of women he's into, see what kind of job he has for a living. I had to go on dates, and that's the way guys got to know me. We picked a place, we picked a location to meet, and that's how we got to know each other. Social media has stripped all of that. Somebody, they could just simply inbox you, what you doing. They could find out all of what you like by going through your page. They could find out what you do for a living, things that it took people to have to ask you. They go through your social media page now. And women are the worst with social media. They put their whole damn life on social media. They
uh,
put, and this is how
that's
men
dangerous
learn
right there.
their combination. Yeah, men
That's
learn
so
their
dangerous.
combination. If you see she loves seafood on Facebook because she's constantly posting that, you already know she likes seafood. You ain't even got to ask her that. You ain't got to ask her what she does for a living. She posts her job on Facebook. I mean, on social media. So social media is like, as you stated, Kuja, it is a curse and it's a blessing at the same time. So I totally agree with all of you on as far as that goes. So I know I'm going to get ready to wrap things up shortly. Is there I'm gonna go to each person one by one and pretty much ask you, is there anything else? If any, is there anything else you wanted to add to tonight's content, or anything else you felt like needed to be a little clarified upon? Starting with Ruby, was there anything we discussed tonight that you want to add something else to, or any other comments or anything else you had?
Yeah, let's just obviously, and I don't want to overstate it too much, but I think that a lot of times what happens is we oversimplify certain issues. And so we say all
Mhm.
men or all women or the hard large majority, and then we paint
Mm.
every kind of man or every kind of woman with the same brush. Different factors count for something, right? Like a
Mhm.
4 and a 6 and a 10, male and female, are all going to have different characteristics and traits and responses. And then of course obviously your background, your heritage, your social standing, where you are individually in life, all those things are going to come into play and dictate things about you and what you would do versus the basketball wife who has to try really really hard, because without all of that effort and all that money she poured into her face and her body and her this and her that, she was like a 5.5. And now with all of that stuff, she looks plastic as fuck and she's maybe a 7.5. Right? That chick is going to be in a different position. And her words are going to mean something very different than maybe an Ayesha Curry. Of course, we don't know her either, for us to speculate. But I think that we need to start over stop oversimplifying certain things and
Right.
recognize that, what, there's a bunch of different perspectives based on certain things being different, that this could be, because otherwise what we're doing is we're telling the people in our community that if you hear a woman say this, then it means this. It doesn't matter who the woman is, doesn't matter anything else about her. If she said this sentence, then it means this about her, and that's all there is to it. And of course, likewise with men. And things aren't that simple. Sometimes we gotta look deeper. That's all I gotta say.
Very true. And to clarify on that, that happens a lot here in the YouTube streets. There's too much generalization. And I see it so much on a lot of these panels. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. I hate when people say all black men. are all black women. I don't like when we try to put everybody in the same category. Just because you have an issue with all black men or all black women, don't put everybody in the same box. Don't generalize. I don't care if that's all you've ever gone through. Don't base your own personal experiences. Don't apply to everyone. Just because you had a few rotten black men back in your day, don't go around here hating all black men for it. Don't go around putting all black men in the same box and the same thing. Just because you had a couple of black women who
That.
did you and used you and took advantage of you, don't go on these YouTube streets applying that to all black women. Okay, that's your personal issue. You find a way to heal and get through that. So Miss Poetic Kales, what would you like to add with the issues that we discussed tonight? And if there's any other comments or anything else you would like to share, this would be the time to do so.
Yeah, this was definitely a very, very good discussion. I actually learned something, as well as keeping your business out of public eye, you also should, work on keeping your feelings out of public eye as well. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
oh yes, because that could get played against you, and it could change you and turn you crazy.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yep. And you're right. You can't display too much of your feelings on face on these social media YouTube
yeah,
streets.
you pretty much
Um,
don't know love.
I agree. Once people see your combination, and we talked about this earlier when we was talking about women who see your insecurity, other women who see that you're insecure about your husband or whatever. People will know your combination.
Hmm.
Once they learn what button to push, they're going to keep working on that. It's very important that you keep your emotions in check when it comes to these YouTube streets, these YouTube panels. If you are an emotional dude, if you are an emotional woman, don't get on social media because somebody is going to get out of pocket sooner or later. Somebody's going to call your bluff. And if you're the type of person, you're emotional, you get bent out of shape to the point to where you have no discipline, you cussing, you going off, you screaming, and you calling people out their name, then you don't need to be in the YouTube streets. To me, YouTube should be the channel should be for grown people who know how to hold a civil conversation. And it's sad that we have a lot of grown men and a lot of grown women. They got attitudes like kindergarten,
Yep.
quick to get mad and blow up and everything. So Kujin, what would you like to add about what we discussed tonight, or if there was any other comments?
I want to say thank you for having me on the show. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Ladies and gents. And I just want to say to the women, be your true, authentic self, and don't try to be something that you're not. Don't be like the trend out here. Be the best feminine woman that you can possibly be. And for the men, be your true, authentic self too. Don't get caught up in the trend. Be your own true self. Be the best man that you could be, and stay positive and stay cool. So that's my input.
That's a very good point. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype. You see all these other channels, they're getting a lot of subscribers, they're getting a lot of recognition because it's overloaded with drama. It's overloaded with chaos. And sometimes it can
Yep.
be discouraging because you don't have a lot of numbers, you don't have a lot of views, and you're over here, you're speaking knowledge, you're speaking wisdom, you're speaking common sense. And a lot of people are not gravitating towards that. They rather gravitate towards the drama because that's where the action is happening. And sometimes it can be discouraged. But I I will say this, I'm okay with my small channel because the bigger you get, the more enemies you tend to create. um, I'm okay if I don't get 200,000 subscribers or whatever the case is. I want my channel to, I want a channel that will allow me to be me, where I don't feel like I have to always put on the show. I don't have to always, follow the trend to get recognition. So I totally agree with that, Cool Gent. You got to be true to you in these YouTube streets because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype. It's so easy. You will lose yourself trying to do what everybody else does. Sometimes you can't get on with certain people just because you want to get more exposure. You can't bring certain people on your panel because certain people will bring cancer to your panel. They will
Mm-hmm.
bring cancer to your channel. I don't care how much subscribers they got. Some people will taint your brand. You get on your panel, they do things that are disrespectful, that make your followers not be interested in what you do. So you got to be very careful. So you definitely said a mouthful, Cool Jet. And again, I definitely appreciate you for coming in, on the impulse. And I appreciate Ruby and Kels as well because it really was supposed to be a woman's panel for the night. But I knew you guys was gonna contribute something great. So, I'm like, nah, if they got something positive to say, let me bring them on board. Whoever got knowledge, that's what it's all about to me. I'm not so stuck on certain genders or whatever the case is. As long as you got wisdom and knowledge to share, that's what's important. So 7, is there anything else you would like to add or anything you would like to reiterate upon?
I have to do the Ayesha Curry. Oh no, I knew somebody was going to send me some information. Um, allegedly, he has
Allegedly.
scoopies.
Mm-hmm.
He has scoopies with my insider.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, this is not good. I gotta look at the
Okay, so what's
post.
going on?
He has she's saying that he has groupies. He has other females.
Uh,
This,
uh.
this guy
Did
might be
it until
credible. I have to see if he's credible.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Somebody
not
give me this.
surprised.
I
I'm
told
not surprised.
The more money you got,
he
the
probably
more
been
options.
I know, but you know what this means, brother. They're gonna try to be. They're gonna. This is why most women don't want some brothers to be successful because of what you just said.
Yeah,
I
it's
better
true.
get.
It's true, man. It's true, bro.
They don't want you to get that $1 million status. You're gonna be. She gonna have. You gonna be. She gonna be an FBI agent on your
Because you have too much power. That's what it is.
checking your phone while you sleeping. Put a tracking on your phone. Shoot, this is crazy, man. If you gotta track my phone, we should not even be together no more. I mean, this is crazy. But guys is doing it too, man. This is
Yeah, sickening, man.
oh
Trust
boy.
is like
A
trust
lot
is
of
like a vase. Sitting in the middle of the room, though, and it just fall over.
Shoot. You ain't lying, bro. Other than that, everybody be safe out there. Always, most importantly, be observant. Pay attention to your surroundings. Ladies, fellas. Go for you fellas too, because most of you don't pay. When you with your lady, you don't pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your surroundings. That's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. And I want to say to everybody in the chat room, I'm sorry that I disappointed you. I'm sorry that, none of the ladies was acting up on the panel and calling each other names and we wasn't cussing the brothers out. And I'm very disappointed with you, Rollo, because you came on here acting like a gentleman. You was being polite and you wasn't being disrespectful and calling out our names. Same thing with you, Cool Gent. You was being too much of a gentleman. I don't think that's right. You messing up my views because everybody over here is being too intelligent and too intellectual. So it's unfortunate that y'all not helping me keep enough drama stirred up over here so I can get some more views. So I'm very disappointed in each and every one of you. Next time I invite y'all to this panel, we need to be cussing. We need to be throwing some bowls. We need to be calling each other all kind of degrading names.
And I need for y'all to be more
Robert,
ratchet too.
Kujit, I need y'all to scream a little louder. I need you to scream in your mic a little louder. You talking too low key for me. You need to scream a little louder next time to get your point across. So
I get an echo box though.
yes, y'all. We supposed to be ratchet up in these streets. Who are y'all to be messing up my panel? acting y'all, carrying yourself with grace and dignity. That's not cool. I didn't get no donations tonight. Y'all done ruined everything coming over to the comment. That's messed up, man. I ain't inviting none of y'all on my panel no more. I
I
need
didn't say that.
drama.
I apologize, man. I tried. I told y'all I disagree. Just everyone came correct after that. No one called me
Give you
nothing.
my
No one
opinion.
put me down. Like I tried to start something by disagreeing respectfully, but no one took the bait. I don't know. I don't know. I tried. I'm sorry, girl. Next time. Next time.
I'm serious, man. Y'all hurting my views. I only got 10 people up in here. I can't bring y'all back here no more. That's it. That's it. We ain't doing this no more. Next time y'all come back here, I need some drama. Y'all hear me?
We'll try, Lady Mocha.
Well,
We'll
I'm gonna
try.
find some ratchet bitch within just for you. I got a ratchet bitch in me somewhere. I'm guessing, right? We all got one. All women do. So I just gotta find them. I don't know. Just I'll build them.
Yeah, let's all act a fool up on here on Lady Mocha's channel next time, though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what party gonna be at.
we gonna drop some F bombs and some whole bombs and B word bombs. We gonna get it cracking up in here
You
next
know, crack
time. But in all seriousness, all jokes aside, I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm fortunate to have met y'all, and again, we don't always agree. We have different opinions, but I love that. I love that, we are setting an example that there's Black people out here who are intelligent, who know how to disagree respectfully. We know how to get our point across without trying to overly dominate one another. I don't have dudes coming over my panel trying to throw their masculine, male chauvinistic views, and I don't have women on my panel that's trying to overshadow the guys with their feminist point of views. And I just appreciate the fact that I can work with all of y'all, and I know when I bring y'all on my panel, it's going to go well. I don't have to worry about anybody getting out of pocket, but it's sad that you have to acknowledge stuff like that, but you do, because you don't get a lot of this on YouTube. So again, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being respectful, for being yourselves. I thank y'all for y'all wisdom, y'all knowledge, everything that y'all have shared on this panel. And I wish more Black men and Black women would conduct themselves the way that we have. And that's in a perfect world. So if I'm going to set a trend, I'm going to set a trend of positivity. So on that note, everybody, I appreciate all of you who came out and hung out with me tonight here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Before I get ready to shut it down, I am working on 2 books. I'm working on DNA, the Broken Woman's Disease, Dick and Attention. I am also working on Schemes and Lies Between the Black Thighs. I'm working on that as well. We're working on a spoken word segment. I'm supposed to be getting with Cool Gent and Kels on a spoken word panel. We're going to be doing that soon. So for all of y'all who like poetry, that's your type of thing. You're
I
into like
love
spoken
spoken
word
word.
type
Yeah,
I love
that,
girl.
singing.
absolutely. We're working on our project next. Ruby, if you want in on it, you're more than welcome. If you just want to hang out and not say a damn thing,
Mm.
that's fine. Your presence is just enough for me. But on that note,
Mm.
y'all, I am getting ready to take off like a prom dress. So it's been wonderful, everybody. This is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm gonna always pour you a cup of juice and break it off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all take care. Be blessed, everyone.
All right. Cheers,
Later.
y'all.
Peace.
Peace.